I gotta get in JVP mode.
Depression. The soul of my father. Don't bother.
No, I'm not fit. I gotta.
Jordan Peterson. Full of depression. It's a digression to the repression and sheer obsession with my congestion. It's just an impression. My name is JVP. I'm not looking for OPP. I'm just looking for that DMT. G. Well, I think we all want to be free. You and me. Let's throw a frisbee to our souls. From the tip of our head to our shoals. When I like to read, it's only from old scrolls. Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson. JVP. OPP. TPP. TP. MPP ratings. That's rated R. In case you didn't know. No. In case you didn't know. No. In case you didn't know. No.
There we go.
No. That's dope. Frisbee with your soul. And your father's soul.
Spice of life. You like that? One thing that you can do nowadays as a rapper, you just pick a word and you just repeat it like 10 times and you're good. And you just make noises too. And then you can mumble because that way you don't have to rhyme anything. Yeah, I'll show you how you do it. Charles Manson. I ain't dancing. I'm prancing. Charles Manson. I ain't dancing. Take a chance and get in my car. Charles Manson. With your mama dancing. Charles Manson. Charles Manson. Charles Manson. Why you prancing? Charles Manson. Now I'm dancing. Charles Manson. Do the Charles Manson. Charles Manson. See how easy it is? I told you. That's a damn hit right there, dude. People were like, when are you gonna do Young Boomer?
Jamie! Could you make me an espresso? Okay, we're gonna open it up. Let's keep it on topic. 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. Icons are idolatry. J, but J, can I talk? But it was an ex-cathedra. If God is real, why does he allow evil? Why do you pray to dead people? Traditions of men, it's a no-brainer. You're such a tyrannical reigner. Is this your first time on the interwebs? Jamie! I need a ginger chew. Can't take it, these low tier slow boys. Is this your first time on the interweb? I need a ginger chew. Was that an uncreated foot fart? Unmute, dude. Stop repeating my name, dude. You goobers call in, or I'll boot you. Where did we get the Bible from? Have you read the canons of Franzia? What are you, Catholic? Are you Protestant? I'm not trying to be mean, but do you have an actual argument? There is only one church. You are in a cult. You're a goblin, a demon, a boomer tard. Quick question. Do we have any diddy-back venerators in the chat? Oh! Is this your first time on the interweb? Jamie! I need a ginger chew. Can't take it, these low-tier slow boys. Is this your first time on the interweb? Jamie! I need a ginger chew. If you're a wine mom, front of the line. Unmute, dude. What is your epistemic justification? That argument is circular and you are refuted. Is this your first time on the interweb? Jamie! I need a ginger chew. Can't take it, these low tier slow boys. Is this your first time on the interweb? Jamie! I need a ginger chew. If you're a wine mom, front of the line. Unmute, dude.
At US Cellular, you don't have to choose between a great deal on the phone you want and the phone plan that's right for you.
You can get both. 4 free phones of your choice.
Oh yeah! There's only one thing that can bring this world together, and that begins with you. The word begins with you, not you. I'm gonna tell you what word it is. Usury! On the dance floor. Bankers, get that ass up! Bankers, get on the floor. Bankers, make the people super poor. RAPE, middle class. Bankers, shake that ass. Sweet cream. Sweet cream. CEOs. Yeah, I'm talking to you. CEOs, I want to see you up on them toes, on the dance floor. Get more hoes, get more paid, get more votes, get more laid. I want to see them CEOs ruining lives to the beat. Ruin those lives at 141 BPM. Bankers, get on the floor. Bankers, make the people poor. Bankers, get more paid. Bankers, get more laid. CEOs, get on your toes. Your base. Raise the interest rates. I want to see the bankers on the floor. I want to see your ass poor. Fiat. Fiat. Usury on the dance floor. Haha! Oh yeah! Only one thing can bring this world together. Destruction of the middle class. Haha! And more fiat cash in my bank account. CEOs get more paid. CEOs get real laid. Oh yeah! Bankers, shake that ass. Yeah! Now it's time for the bridge.
A lot of y'all didn't know I had a early EDM Euro dance hit that got remixed by hardcore techno artists of the internet. Hardcore DJs of DJ fame. like SAL. Shout out to DJ SAL. Remixing the hottest track of this year. Thank you, Jamie, for them extra espressos. Look at this. Cheers to Jamie, my beautiful wife and espresso queen. Call her Queen Espresso because she slays them espressos. She's also, when I transition to being a DJ and comedian writer very soon, when I get my turntables and all of that, she's going to be my rave dance girl for when I'm the DJ.
Oh, yeah. There's only one thing that can bring this world together, and that begins with you. The word begins with you, not you. I'm gonna tell you what word it is. Usury. On the dance floor. Get that ass up. Bankers, get on the floor. Bankers, make the people poor. Bankers, get more paid. Bankers, get more paid. See your ass poor. CEOs, yeah, I'm talking to you. Get more hoes, get more paid, get more votes, get more laid. I want to see the CEOs ruining lives to the beat. Ruin those lives in 141 BPMs. Oh yeah.
All right. Welcome, everybody. It's time to get back into the news, the current events, the geopolitics, the real cryptocracy, governmental procedures and techniques. What's really going on behind and between the headlines, underneath the hood, looking up under the sheets. Wait, what? No, forget that. We're talking about Jeff Stein McEffrey back in the news, baby. Is it real? Is it redacted? Is it legit? Is it contracted? Is it fractured? Is it stacked? Is it insomniac? I don't know, just random. I'm just freestyling. It's going over everybody's heads. You don't even understand what I'm saying because it's too deep. It's too deep for a lot of you slow boys and slow girls in the audience. I should have put the music up because I'm in a mood to just start rapping like I usually do. Shit, we could have created a new cringecore song tonight if I'd have thought to put the dang boombox on. How do I create those? A lot of y'all wonder what magic goes into the creation of the cringecore. Basically, I have a little Bose speaker boombox, and I put it right here next to the microphone, and I play the royalty-free beats through that as I rap and sing and melodize you to sleep. That's how it works, dog. Why would I unblock Redeem Zoomer? And why are you spamming my chat? Dude, go home. Go home, bro. Your mom's cooked me breakfast. She's ready for. She said your curfew's up. Your mom's cooked me breakfast. She cooked me breakfast. Where are we at? Let's get into this, or else I'm gonna get distracted. I'm gonna get distracted by y'all. We got a lot of things I want to talk about tonight. But hey, you know what? It's gonna be kind of a chill attitude, even though we're talking about crazy stuff, intense stuff. It's gonna be kind of a chill attitude because guess what happened? Maybe some of y'all heard. Maybe some of y'all ain't heard yet. Let's take a look over here at my Twitter. Oh, damn. What's this right here? Now, this is actually not the finished cover. But guess what got complete this week? 2 days ago, Esoteric Hollywood Trice. What's the one after deuce? You got going number 1, going number 2, and then you going number 3, baby. Esoteric Hollywood going number 3 is up. It's not out yet. So a bunch of people said, where's it at? Bro, I just sent it to the publisher, man. It ain't out yet. Now, according to the publisher, the presumed, at this moment, ETA, we're looking at July, August, September. I wish it was quicker. Maybe it'll get a little quicker. We don't know yet. that will depend on Trine Day, and Trine Day is presently working through, they're working on 10 books. So there's 10 new Trine Day books coming out. Esoteric Hollywood 3 is one of those. I should have pulled up the completed cover. I don't think I have that handy, but it actually looks a little better because it's all smoothed out. Let me see if I can find that one for you. No, I have to X out of everything. So just, it's basically, it's better than this. So it's that, but better than that. Anyway, just a little bit on that before we get into the topics today. I'll be interacting more with the chat today because we're in a little bit of a relaxed mood. I do have about 10 or 15 articles that we're going to look through, some videos and some clips. So we will be learning things. We will be getting deep. But I want it to be kind of relaxed and fun because Esoteric Hollywood 3 was a lot of work. It took me way longer to do this one than the first two because for Esoteric Hollywood 1 and 2, most of the book was already written. There was some little things I tweaked and added, and I had to put in all the footnotes, which was a nightmare. But this one was, I would say, half written. I would say I had 150 pages written, and that means about another 200-ish to 250 pages that I wrote. And I didn't work on this nonstop, obviously, because we do a lot of things, and I can't just spend all the time writing the book because everything else suffers if I do that. So this ended up taking me a year and a half, I think, to finish part 3. I think it will, if you liked 1 and 2, I can guarantee you will like this. It is a little different, as we said before, if you don't know. Different in the sense that we have more movies in this one. So in the first 2, you have, the first one is, of course, arranged by directors. So you've got, Spielberg section, you've got Hitchcock, you've got Kubrick section. And then in the second one, you have it organized thematically by how Hollywood treats different things like organized crime, intelligence agencies, MK Ultra. And that worked. And this one, I wasn't sure how I wanted to organize it, but basically the way it breaks down is you have a section on, I'm going to pull it up here so I give you the exact sections. So first we talk about comic book engineering and Christopher Nolan films. And that one overlapped because obviously Christopher Nolan did Batman. But you also have all these Marvel films in the last 15, 20 years that kind of took over Hollywood and blockbusters for a long time. Thankfully, maybe we're kind of getting past the Marvel MCU dominance and even DC universe dominating movies. Hopefully, maybe people are kind of sick of this. Everybody knows that Marvel, DC, Disney, they all went super woke, right? Star Wars, all the things that everybody that grew up in the 70s and 80s enjoyed in the 90s, all that got kind of trashed and destroyed through all the woke religion. And so maybe we're moving out of that, but regardless, we really have to analyze, I think, the last 20 years of comic book propaganda. And really, you can't separate how we have all these soy men everywhere and soyance and just lecherous debauchery from these people without the consumer Marvel Cinematic Universe ethos. Okay, and that spawned all of these other monstrosities like Funko Pops, right? So it's a big part of the culture and movies from the last 20 to 30 years. Then we move on after Nolan and Marvel stuff to dystopian films. There were a lot of requests for dystopian films that I never got to. So we cover a lot of those. We get into Mad Max. We get into even all the way up to Furiosa. We get into Black Mirror. We get into all kinds of, again, a lot of what I didn't get to but wanted to get to in part 1 and part 2. And what often happens is that you find as you write this type of a book, you have all these ideas and you'll write down, 100 movies that you want to include, and you only end up really fitting about maybe 40 or 50. But I will say that this installment, it will probably be a little bit longer. Most of the part 1 and part 2 were around 350, 360. This one will come in at around 400 pages. Right now it's at about 400, and that's not including index and all that. Anyway, so then we move to feminism in film, the dark Gnostic goddess savior archetype. I included a whole section on that. Then we move to a lot of obscure independent and B movies that have messages that I never got to, that you may have heard me and Jamie cover in some of the podcasts or videos. But that section was a lot of fun. Everything in there is brand new that I can recall. I don't think there's anything that I touched up. Section 4 is Hollywood, alchemy, and horror trauma. That section alone, I think, is about 90 to 100 pages. So there's a lot of films that I stuck in there. We go deep on things that many of you wanted me to hit that I never got to. So we go into Hereditary, we go into Wicker Man, we go into Lovecraft films. I go pretty deep on some stuff that people don't know about Lovecraft. It's good. And I wanted to do Inland Empire, but I didn't have room to stick Inland Empire in there. So look, if Esoteric Hollywood 3 and the whole trilogy continues to sell good, maybe we can have an Esoteric Hollywood 4. It's really up to you guys whether you want a part 4. Because the way movies work, as you know, you can always infinitely analyze movies. And some of the films that I wanted to do, again, that never made it in, Under the Silver Lake, didn't have room for it. Inland Empire didn't have room for it. Wild at Heart, Blue Velvet, there's always more you could do with Lynch. There's always more that you can do with Bond films. We've only touched on, 5 or 6 Bond films in Esoteric Hollywood books. So there's always more directions to go. There's always new information. And I think probably the best chapter, the one I find had the most fun writing, was either the B movies chapter or the section on organized intelligence crime syndicates. And this deals with spy films that we didn't get to. Okay, so that was a fun chapter. Intelligence agencies in Hollywood. And then the final chapter is Hollywood Antichrist Apocalypse. And the thesis for the book is that it's providentially, synchronistically, perfect timing that I wrote Esoteric Hollywood 3 almost 10 years after Esoteric Hollywood 1 came out, because in that 10-year span from 2016 to now, we've kind of seen the end of Hollywood. Hollywood has undergone a kind of apocalypse of its own, a mini internal apocalypse. Now, it's not totally gone, obviously, but at least the legacy studio system, as we have known of Hollywood for the last century, has pretty much it's going out. So we are at the end of Hollywood as we know it, and of course that is obviously transitioning into people preferring video games, people preferring streaming sites, and of course Apple and Amazon have created their own studios, which are presumably going to probably replace the traditional Hollywood studio system. But it's just fitting that, here we are at the end of this era of the dominance of the Hollywood entertainment complex. And what better time for sex, cults, and apocalypse in film? So you see the double meaning there. And this was several days ago, so I've already written another 50 pages since I posted this. So this is old. It's 400 pages complete. It's not 356 pages. So yeah, it's going to be, I think, something that you guys will really enjoy if you enjoyed part 1 and part 2. And yeah, by the way, if you'd like, you can still always, I say always, you probably won't always be able to get the signed copies because, Trine Day might not be around in 10 years. right? It might, Chris might go into retirement. And so that means that I won't always be able to have the copies of Esoteric Hollywood 1 and 2. Obviously, we have plenty of those right now. You can get signed copies in the website shop. And everybody always asks me, can you please sign it? Listen, every copy from the website is signed. You don't have to request it. If you do want some specific requests, you can add the note. I try to read the notes when the orders come in. So, but you don't have to ask me if it's a signed copy. That's the only advantage of me selling these from the website is that way. So basically, I don't make any money unless you buy it from the website, the signed copy. And that's pretty much a lot of authors are that. It's books with the rise of the internet, with people being functionally illiterate, not reading. Books are kind of diminishing in popularity as we go into the quirky future that we're going into. Books and authors have to survive. I don't know, maybe it's akin to the way that musicians, right? They don't make money from albums anymore, so they have to tour and they do this kind of stuff. So thank you guys for the support. Welcome. We got 700 tonight. If you'd like to support the stream, you can do so via super chats. Those can be done through either Streamlabs or through YouTube natively. You can use the in-house function if you'd like, because we are, thank God, remonetized. And I don't know why this computer keeps getting slowed down, because I have all these programs open, these tabs open. So, look forward to Esoteric Hollywood 3. It's going to be a lot of fun when we get that out, and maybe can do some more live events. Here you go. Yeah, Corky was code for slow boy, if y'all didn't catch it. I know some of y'all slow boys was too slow to catch my jokes, but that's how it be. You know what I'm saying? All right. Shout out to me for this thumbnail. I think my thumbnail game, it just keeps growing, bro. It just keeps kind of topping out. And then it's like, who else can top my thumbnail game but me? Oh, excuse me, me can top me. And there you have it. I mean, this is just grade A thumbnail, except for the little weird thing going on here with Elon's head when I made this thumbnail. So that didn't work out, but that's okay. It's okay. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys for those super chats. We'll get to some of those in a second. Now, I don't know why I want to talk about this, but sometimes I think about high school lunch, and this meme made me think of that, because it's a meme of high school lunch. Now, some of y'all don't even know, and it makes me wonder, what's high school like today? What do they serve? Do kids eat from vending machines? Just straight up pure synthetic slop? Or do they have a lunch lady, like a big fat lunch lady woman that like plops that right on your tray? Does that still exist? Do you got trays still? How's it work? Have they transitioned to sensitive, feel good Gen Z plates? What do you eat? Do I remember bag milk, bro? I used to get, it's like a milk, it's like a breast implant of milk, right? That little plastic bag of milk that you would get. We have both. Sometimes we have a carton and sometimes we have a plastic bag. Basically prisoner food. Exactly. Like, if you look at, probably the prisoners had it better. But I mean, public education in America was kind of actually modeled on the same structures like the Prussian system that I would assume probably a lot of prisons were based on, because it's the Prussian military system. And so, sea lion milk, I don't know what that is. People are saying that the jail food was actually better. You bet I did. But I'm trying to remember if I didn't like the chocolate bag of milk. Something about that was gross. So I think I would get just the regular squishy breast implant bag of milk. By the way, I remember thinking, if a woman gets breast implants, is that what it is? Is it that little bag of milk that you get in high school? Is that what they just stick it up in there? That might actually be better than the ones that women's was getting when they was popping. Because, I mean, if that thing pops, at least you could get a little milk out of it. You didn't get like cancer or something. You know what I'm saying? And also, I found that pizza was not very good. It didn't taste like pizza, but I have to say that I did look forward to chicken nuggets and mashed potato and gravy day. Do y'all remember that? And that carb overload of the chicken nuggets and mashed potatoes and gravy, that carb overload by after lunch when you go to the next class, number one, it will put you to sleep, and number two, it will make you fart like hell. And if you fall asleep in class after eating that, you'll fart in your sleeping class. So you better hope that whatever period you have after lunch, that you don't have that with a girl you have a crush on, because you're going to be ripping it up in there. You're going to be launching some air bombs in chemistry class if you got a crush on Betsy, to use the Theo Von type of terminology. Anyway, remember that? Everybody remember that? Chicken nuggets were kind of gross, though, I have to say. But the weird thing about chicken nuggets in high school is that, much like chicken nuggets from McDonald's, if you got like a 12-piece, all of them would be gross, except for like there would be 2 good ones that actually had like the grain and strands of chicken meat like it was real chicken. The rest of them were like ground up, like a milkshake turned into a chicken nugget with no meat strands. But you could always count on at least 1 or 2 gems in that package. Now, brief shout out. Want to give a brief shout out to Kelly Everts, the evangelical calling me out. This guy is a Satanist. I finally got exposed. And once again, I think this week's discussions, debates, have proven that the evangelical Zionists, the evangelical horde, and the Mormons have taken the cake when it comes to smartest of the internet sphere. They're the smartest, hands down. What do we want to talk about next before we get into stuff that's just too heavy? Okay, we got to take it easy here. By the way, so once all the MAGA influencers were at the White House today, and when the folders dropped, did y'all notice what they were actually? A lot of people didn't zoom in and see what they were actually holding. And if you zoom in, they got the early releases. Look at that. They got the early releases of Esoteric Hollywood 3. Y'all thought it was some kind of Jeff Stein McEffery stuff. No. It's the early releases of EH3. Hopefully you guys saw the debate. It was not what I expected. I actually thought that guy would have a few arguments. I thought he would bring something to the table. But I can't complain when he brings pure comedy to the table. Because, hey, it becomes an immediate classic. And that's why I had to immediately retweet this classic, because somebody found the actual original clip. So shout out to the archive, that Sam Shamoon channel, for finding this.
This is how debate should be conducted. Getting heated.
Tyrannically? You're a tyrannical reigner and you're arrogant as May I have a question for Father, please?
A tyrannical reigner? What's a reigner?
My question is for Father.
No, this is my live stream, so if you want to...
Oh, there he goes, the tyrannical man. You don't know what you're talking about and how you have to convince yourself about it.
If I'm insecure, then why am I allowing you to... You can't even... Are you drunk?
You just cut people off whenever you feel insecure? Sure.
I'm not insecure.
Yeah, that's your civil debate. You have no idea what you're talking about, sir. You are misled, you are a false prophet, and you need to consult God on your sins.
Are you trolling?
Forgive him, Father. What is your
So
sin?
are you talking to God in the midst of this?
I like how crazy evangelicals love to just start praying in the middle of anything. I'm surprised she didn't go into talking in tongues, right? But also a lot of people forget that a giant portion of America and America's women, unfortunately, are also on pills. They're also on antidepressants, Xanax, Zoloft. And I can tell you from a lot of experience that when those things are mixed, especially alcohol and Zoloft, Prozac, or Xanax, it produces absolute insanity, unhinged insanity. And one thing I think we overlook in a lot of these debates and discussions when people come on and they just act insane, they say crazy stuff. I probably overlooked the fact that, I think, they're wine moms or drunk. They're probably on pills too. They're probably half the population is taking freaking SSRIs. And especially when you combine that with alcohol, it produces absolute delusion, insanity, crazy.
I guess it is probably pride.
Do you want to make an argument? You sound like you're not sober.
You're just envious because you don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking
I'm
about.
envious of you. I mean, are you sober?
Because you're such a pathetic human that you project others' opinions as your own.
I'm a pathetic human that I project others' opinions as my own. Okay. Now, let's see. People enjoyed the Mormon one way more than I expected. I didn't think this would get as much viewership than it did, but between YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, this is going to have 100,000 views pretty soon between all those, which is pretty funny because, number one, I didn't actually think that Mormon girl would come and argue because she kept talking smack back to me on Twitter replies in public. It wasn't DMs or anything. And I was like, okay, this woman is just a waste of time. But she kept talking. And so I was like, all right, look, you want to, here's the link, come debate. So people think that I invited a person that was blocked. No, she got blocked. And then Twitter shows that as blocked from that time on. So in other words, once the Twitter space is done, if you block the person within the Twitter space, it just sees them as, it reads them as the blocked person the whole time. But no, she was not blocked because if you're blocked, you can't talk on the space, right? So she got blocked after her meltdown. It wasn't that I brought a blocked person on. But I wanted to remind people too, because this was another, in the midst of all this insanity, what's the commonality here? And this will wrap up this section where we're talking about this week's kind of goofballs. What's the commonality between these goofballs? We got Bryson Gray here. As you guys know, we debated Bryson a year or two ago on his made-up cult where he thinks he's keeping the Torah. He's not actually part of any group that I'm aware of. He said that he one time went to a thing with a anti-Trinitarian messianic person at one meetup. But he doesn't have a group or a sect or anything that he's created his own thing. But I don't think he likes his audience because of his rap career, knowing that he's anti-Trinitarian and he believes that Jesus is a creature. And yes, ultimately this is Arian, and yes, this is polytheism, because if Jesus is not God, then there's not one God, there's multiple gods. So he's an Arian, polytheistic, Judaizing, Torah-keeping delusion man who doesn't actually keep the Torah. And people should know that because Bryson pretends and acts like he's a Christian rapper for the sake of gaining an audience when there's nothing about anything that he believes even remotely close to anything in terms of historic Christianity or any confession. And people need to know that. Also, do not take shrooms and go to Walmart. Let's see what else is going on before we move on. Was there any other news or information that I retweeted? A little bit of a detour here. If you want to keep your sanity, do not watch this video.
put it on my tab.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know if you were able to keep your sanity. I don't know what any of that meant, but I like it. And that's the kind of positive madness that we do want to enforce and encourage over here. Hey, babe. Here you go. Thank you. If you don't recall, here are the highlights to this nonsense with this clown. And on top of that, I would add that if we want to... Now remember, this is Bryson Gray that doesn't know what a fallacy is. When I said you're committing a fallacy, what that is. That's who we're talking about here. What's the commonality between all of the clown show here? Whether it's Misfit Patriot, whether it's Mormons, or whether it is Bryson Gray's Hebrew roots made up Judaizing cult. Every one of these groups is a complete departure from the idea, which is quite simple, that Christianity is a historic church. It's a historic religion, meaning that it comes out of a specific time, a specific place, a specific ethos, milieu, the Middle East, Israel, first century. Jesus sets up the church, creates the College of the Apostles. That's not an actual university. It's called a college, which is a synod or a body of people. That group goes forth and sets up what we call apostolic succession. That is, bishops that succeed the previous bishop from the apostles in terms of ordination. That becomes the only existing church in the Roman Empire in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th century. There's not other churches. There's just that one. It's called the Orthodox Catholic Church. It makes up the Roman Empire all throughout. It's the oikumene, the universal Catholic Church. And that's what the councils and synods of the church come out of. They come out of that period. The 7/8/9 ecumenical councils. And as you guys know, East and West, for the most part, were agreed and aligned for that first 1,000 years. So that's why that first 1,000 years is so important. What do all of these groups have in common? Whether it's the Mormons, whether it's the Muslims, whether it's the Hebrew roots Judaizing cults and sects, whether it's the evangelicals, the Protestant Reformation, all of these positions are a departure from the very clear, very easy to find out and ascertain Christianity of those centuries. So in other words, we can go read the people before Nicaea. We can read the canons of Nicaea. We can read the canons of the next councils and see what the mindset of those people was. We can read those church fathers. They're all right here. I mean, not literally all of them, but this 38-volume series right here is a vast example of that time period. And they're not Protestant. They're not evangelicals. They're not evangelical Zionists. They're not dispensationalists. They're not Calvinists. They're not any sectarians. They produced a creed, the Niceno-Constantinopolitan Creed. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. And that creed specifies that the faith of that time, Constantinople in 381, the imperial faith of that time in 381, was that there's one holy Catholic Apostolic Church. One holy Catholic Apostolic. Those are 4 marks, sometimes it is said, of the church. To remove any of those 4 marks makes one not the church. Any of them. So if you depart from the unity of that visible historical body and covenant, you are a schismatic or a heretic, because you've departed from that community and that unity, you see, that confession. It's not just a verbal intellectual, it's a communal communion around the Eucharist To depart from that communion is to make you not in the church and not a Christian. You could be a schismatic, but you're not part of the Orthodox Catholic Church. So to depart from the unity, to depart from the holiness, meaning that the church is holy in terms of its sacraments, its sanctity, its confession in terms of how we're supposed to live, and the saints that the church produces, and the deifying grace that the church possesses and produces as the body of Christ. That uncreated energy, which is inseparable from the confession and existence of the church, cannot be divided from the church. It cannot be lost. And it can also not be turned into a thing that some sectarian group alone possesses. That would be a Novatianist, Montanist, Donatist type of perspective that would lead to heresy and schism. So, Catholic in the four marks of the church: one, holy, Catholic, and apostolic. Catholic meaning the fullness of truth. Catholic is not primarily defended and defined in terms of numbers, precisely because the church can, at unfortunate times and periods, be reduced to a small number. You can actually have a small number of those who do confess the true faith, but those small numbers will never lose the other marks, you see. So in other words, a heretic or a Protestant might say something like, well, if the church can be reduced to a small number of true confessing believers, then the Protestants can be correct because they might have been in the minority, but they were the true remnant believers reforming against the corrupt institutional church. Then you see that you cannot have one of those marks without the other three. They all go together. One, holy, Catholic, and apostolic. How do I know that? Because in Ephesians, Paul says there's one Lord, one faith, one body, one baptism. Just like there's one physical body of Christ that he assumed in the incarnation. There can't be 20,000 bodies. Christ is not chopped up into 30,000 different parts, 20,000 different parts, 5,000 parts. It doesn't matter. Just like that big evangelical guy that came on the stream the other day, Donnie Darkened. He came on to debate with me and said, Christ's body is not divided because it's spiritual. And I'm like, well, but did Jesus have a spiritual body or an actual human body? And Paul's point in the passage to the Corinthians is that you, church in Corinth, are the visible body of Christ. That visible body cannot be split up or chopped up. So there's only one church. There can't be 30,000, 20,000. There can't be two churches. There's only one. So no, it doesn't work for Protestants to say, well, one holy Catholic apostolic, we can be the true Catholic Church in terms of a small band of true believers because we possess the truth. You don't possess the truth without the last point, apostolic succession. And you'll note as well that Protestant churches don't believe in saints and have not produced saints. They do not possess the healing power and sanctity of the sacraments to produce deified saints because they don't believe in the power and principle within the sacrament of uncreated energy to produce those things. How are you going to get deified people when you don't believe in deification and the uncreated energies that deify? It's pretty obvious. You won't. And if you reject the medicine of immortality, which you do if you don't believe in the real presence, you're not going to have the medicinal power that's needed to possess that life from God, that immortality, that uncreated energy. Jesus said in John 17 that he came to bring us the same glory that he possessed with the Father before the foundation of the world. Glory is not a created thing. God's glory is uncreated. So if we're going to possess that, participate in that, it must be a real thing that can be found somewhere. Where? If you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you will live. I will live in you. You will have eternal life. It's not just a mental notional thing as Protestants think. And so that last point of the four, one, holy, Catholic, and apostolic, they all go together. They're all inseparable. And they all cannot be divorced from history and the historical church. You'll notice in every one of those ecumenical councils, when they begin their canons or when they begin their dogmatic professions of faith,
they will oftentimes specify that they are in continuity with the previous synods and councils. That tells us that there is this singular body and confession within history. So you'll notice that Protestants are very adept, oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes, when they read the Bible and they come to the conclusion of the unity of Christ's hypostatic state, right? Two natures, one person. They come to the notion of the unity within the Godhead, of the equality of divinity amongst the persons. But then they totally are blindsided at the unity and the historical placement of the church. And what do Protestants often do? Default to Israel. I don't just mean the evangelicals who think that and act like Israel in the Middle East today is basically their church. I mean that they actually revert to the Old Testament ideas of what was the norm for how the church is, precisely proving that they have no conception of the importance of Pentecost in redemptive history. Because once Pentecost happens, something new has occurred. Part of this new covenant, you see. And Jesus said, I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. I will bring all things to your mind. The Holy Spirit will be with you until the end of the age. So the same presence of the Holy Spirit that the apostles had is the same presence for the rest of the centuries of the church. But Protestants forget this. Protestants ignore this, or they don't care. They believe that once the last apostle died, we're back to an Old Testament scenario where an institutional church, like institutional Israel, can apostatize, fall away, become a total failure, and it has to be reborn and restarted like a reinventing the wheel. And every sect and cult is based on the exact same premise. But once you understand the unity of the body of Christ as the church with the unity of the actual body that Christ had, and that it's a historical reality, and that all those promises of being grafted into the vine, the tree, the olive tree, the branch, etc. There's not 50 different branches that you can join. There's not 50 different sects. There's not 50 different sheepfolds. There's not 50 different kingdoms or 5,000 kingdoms. There's one. And ironically, as much as Protestants want to revert to the Old Testament pre-Pentecost setting, they don't even follow the principle of Israel itself. How many Israels were there in the Old Testament? 50? 30? 5,000? One. If you read the chapter in Judges, I'm going from memory, I think it's like Judges 18. This is a classic chapter on all cults and sects for all time, because this guy within Israel basically just creates his own parallel church, parallel priesthood, and parallel Israel. And it's all fake. It's like he made up a house church, but he establishes his own priesthood. He makes his own vestments. I think his mom is part of the church, or like they create this cult or something. It's a cult within Israel. Remember the story of Korah in the rebellion in the wilderness. Korah rebels against the authority of the appointed Mosaic authority. And what happens? The schism of Korah destroys and eats up, and they're basically swallowed up into the ground. That is a type of all schismatics, all heretics, all schisms, all groups within history that will rebel against the ordained authority of the college of the apostles. And unfortunately, that applies eventually to the Roman pontiff as well. There's no special promise that one of the bishops is the super bishop who's not subject to the canons or subject to all the warnings of the rest of the church. And what do we see as one easy example? If people really understood the theology and teaching of the councils, this alone would actually refute the Roman Catholic Church. What? Iconography itself could refute Rome. And a Roman Catholic hears that. How is that? Well, we don't have a problem with icons. We love all the art styles of the church. It is not an art style. the teaching of the Seventh Ecumenical Council mandates, as clear as day, that there's universal liturgical norms for iconography. Now, Rome, especially by the time of the Renaissance, okay, I'm not saying at the time of the Seventh Ecumenical Council Rome disagreed with us. In fact, Rome agreed with us. And at the time of the Seventh Council, it was the Carolinian theologians who rejected Nicaea II. Okay? Rome was on our side. Rome was Orthodox. And Rome agreed to what the Seventh Council taught. But after the schism, and after a few centuries of Frankish papacy, Germanic papacy, Renaissance papacy, we're supposed to believe that there's essentially no difference between this, okay, fallen Adam with his TTs out and his ding-dang, okay, nothing at all Orthodox about this bizarre, weird pagan image, versus this, which is the exact same ancient style and structure where Jesus looks like Jesus. Jesus isn't Chinese Jesus. He's not African Jesus. He's Hebrew Jesus who looks like a guy from Palestine, from Israel. The reason the Seventh Ecumenical Council mandated a lot of these principles was that the worship of God cannot be subject to the imagination and creativity that pagan arts applied to divinities and to gods. It doesn't mean that no iconographer has any element of creativity. I'm not saying that. But it specified liturgical canonical norms for worship. Okay, so this is about worship. It's not art styles. The icon has to portray the historical reality. It can't deviate. When it deviates, you get the Vatican with this in the church, which is totally nonsensical. That alone tells you the Roman Church doesn't follow the Seventh Ecumenical Council. They follow it in name only, you see. They give verbal credence to the idea of images, which they think is just religious art. It is not about religious art. It is about what is allowable within the liturgical worship. That's vastly different. Two different things. And it's vastly different faiths. If you go to Rome, and we went a few months ago, or excuse me, a year ago, you will notice in Rome, everywhere, right? Roman Catholic statuary, paintings, it's everywhere. Okay, you can't go anywhere. You walk a block in Rome and there's a Catholic church. You walk another 20 feet, there's another Catholic church. And it's full of very beautiful art. Okay, so don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not an iconoclast. I'm not saying that I even care about people's personal artistic preferences, and you want to do something Renaissance style, go for it. You want to do something, some other style that's not just complete, degeneracy or whatever, go for it. What we're talking about is what's appropriate canonically within the churches, you see, within the liturgical worship. So if you actually want to understand the liturgical collapse of the Roman Catholic Church, guess what? It's not Vatican II. The Roman See and the Roman Church departed from actual Orthodox canonical liturgical styles. And it's not an issue of like whether you could have a statue at the entrance of the church. It has to do with what's allowed in the sanctuary and the liturgy. Once you depart from the Seventh Council and you get this, now the floodgates are opened for insanity. You've got images of Isis. I'm not joking. In like the papal apartment, which is also a chapel, if I recall, right? I mean, you've got pagan deities in St. Peter's, right? Like the Sibyl and all this kind of stuff. If you walk through the Sistine Chapel, you see the pagan oracles up on the wall. Now, I don't mind an artistic portrayal of the Sibyl and the pagan oracles or whatever. That's not the point. The point is that in the liturgical worship service, you don't have naked people and boobies hanging out everywhere, fat boobies and fat butts and vaginas everywhere. And you do in Rome. Why? Because it's sensuous, and no icons are based around sensuousness and emotionalism. When you walk around Rome and you see the statuary, all of the statues are in very emotional, extreme Marvel Cinematic Universe poses. The saints are giant Hulk creatures with massive muscles. That's not accurate. The saints are not superheroes. They're not the Hulk. They're not Magneto. And they're not wacko emotional based women. But the Roman Church portrays their saints, and especially their women saints, especially the orgasm saints like St. Teresa of Avila, with the extreme sensuousness and emotiveness that is an obvious departure from this. This alone tells you it is a different faith. It is not the faith of the first 1,000 years of Christianity. And it is literally not what the Seventh Ecumenical Council teaches. It is the opposite of what it teaches. No, I don't even care about a painting of butts and boobs. The point is that it's not appropriate in the church. How can you people not understand that? All you Roman Catholics, do you not even understand? It's your own ecumenical council that says this is wrong. The picture says nothing? What are you talking about? Words are pictures. Words are pictographic. They're iconographic. Yeah, maybe this is why Taylor Marshall has no problem with engorged milkers. Well, I mean, everybody's seen the St. Bernard of Clairvaux, right? Where you've got like breasts squirting milk everywhere. I mean, it's like, the point is not that you can't talk about women feeding babies. The point is that there's things that are not appropriate for the liturgical worship. It's not, this is not even that hard to understand. Where are the words? Okay, you're wasting our time. You don't even understand what we're talking about. Get out of here. And now some of you are joking about Skittles art. No, you're actually not far off, because actually many of these Renaissance guys actually were Skittles men. And why is a snake Ouroboros biting his weenus? I mean, what does this have to do with Genesis? This is just crazy. This is like some weird Renaissance Hermeticism stuff, which has nothing to do with what Genesis talks about, right? And you'll notice this Catholic guy right here, and I'm not being mean to him, but he expresses the Roman Catholic attitude. I prefer Catholic art, but I like the Byzantine style. Missing the whole point. The Seventh Ecumenical Council is not about art styles. It's not whether you like Googie or, pop art. Whether you like Impressionism or whatever. Dadaism. It's about liturgical norms. Did people don't even understand this? Like, is it not obvious that some things would be appropriate for the worship and some things would not? And quite obviously, this does not make any sense in a church. And it's bizarre and baffling to me when Roman Catholics are so ignorant of their own church's history and teaching. And the reason for this is that in the Roman Catholic mindset, I know how they think. The Seventh Council has settled the issue. Why do I need to read that? I don't need to read that. That's an old settled dispute. It's a waste of my time. We all know that images are fine. Okay, well, that's not the only thing that the Seventh Council is talking about. It's not just talking about, can we have an image or not? It's also laying down canonical norms, and also producing documents like a Synodicon, and also producing documents like Triumph of Orthodoxy, etc., that condemn a lot of errors. And Rome, to my knowledge, unless they're uniates, don't even do that. So hopefully people understand this. It's not even that hard to, I don't understand. It's not that hard to grasp. Like, you either believe what the Seventh Council teaches or you don't. And it doesn't just teach, okay, images are cool, dude. Like, that's not all there is to it. Otherwise, you're just a tyrannical reigner. All right, enough of that. I think you guys see the main point, which is that all the sectarians, all these goofballs, they all have one thing in common. They will not submit to one holy Catholic Apostolic Church. They make up their own church, and they follow obvious con men like Mohammed or Joseph Smith. I'll read a couple super chats before we move on to the next section tonight. Thank you guys for being generous and supporting. Welcome to the memberships, James Michael Roddy. For those that are wondering about the next members talk, yes, I have not forgotten. We will do the next section of Carl Jung's Archetypes of the Collective Unconscious. As you guys know, we got through the first chapter or introductory chapter, and we did a little bit of introductory videos about Carl Jung's archetypes. Next, we will talk about more on the anima. We will get into Skittles and TRA and Z stuff, which, believe it or not, Carl Jung actually talks about. We will get into the Lucifer archetype. We'll talk about the reconciliation of opposites, what Carl Jung thinks about Skittles and TRA and Z. We will talk about the sun's phallus. Believe it or not, that's actually important for Carl Jung. We'll talk about the syzygy. We'll talk about Gnosticism, Carl Jung's explicit endorsement of Gnosticism, and we'll talk about his explicit endorsement of Platonism. So that's going to be fun. Also, for members, this is a very well-known, famous book. I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk about this book publicly because it's just such a hot-button topic. But 10 years ago, I got the famous book by Viktor Ostrovsky on the workings and the background and the history of the Mossad. And I read the book 10 years ago. I've known about all this stuff longer than most of you guys. That annoys me because people always bitch at me like I don't know about this stuff. But I don't know if I can get away with talking about publicly what's in the book, just because people are so insane. But it's a very famous, well-known book. And I've gone back and I've read, I'm reading through it fully. I read chapters 10 years ago. Now I'm actually reading the whole book. It's a fascinating book. It's very insightful. Of course, Viktor Ostrovsky left that organization and became kind of a vocal critic about it. He's not the only one. There have been others who have left and become vocal critics. For example, Ari Ben Menashe famously said on many mainstream news interviews, I've seen at least 4 of this same interview. I think Whitney Webb even interviewed him. That our buddy Jeff Stein McEffrey, I'm making a joke when I say that. Jeff Stein McEffrey was involved. Now, who doesn't know this? Like if you don't get this or this hasn't clicked with you, it's kind of like you're not going to get it. You know what I mean? Like you're just an idiot. And this is also a big vindication because now we have pretty much the entire Twitter sphere world talking about these issues, which I was so heavily attacked about. I was threatened when I talked about this on my old website, my blog. And I'm talking about like lightweight stuff, just talking about the existence of Zionism, evangelical Zionism, and just even talking about the Zionim and this kind of stuff. All of which was in this book from decades ago. Okay. When was this written? 1990. So I might make that a talk for members because people just can't handle this stuff and they lose their mind. Although I have to admit, when we did our evangelical Zionism and nation state debate, when Ridvan joined us and We even had multiple Jews calling in. It was an amazingly civil discussion. I couldn't believe it. Basically, we had nobody freaking out. It was a fully reasonable, rational discussion. And I'll find that original chat here in a second because no, wait, that one I didn't record that one. I forgot that one. I didn't turn the button on to record. But the next several days we discussed it. Also, if you are interested in a fuller, extensive breakdown of the issue of dispensationalism, me, Posh, and Jim Bob did a 4-hour talk that is kind of this should be the end. Okay. This should be the total annihilation of dispensationalism. And I would like to add, too, by the way, after this guy lost the debate...
You're a cunt who knows...
Here's your supposed Catholic evangelical. I don't think this guy even knows what he is. Here was his response to the debate after he lost so bad.
You're not a fucking Christian. You're a cunt who knows about the Bible. Fuck me. I really, truly didn't want to get into this fight. I'm not somebody who wanted to start using theology as a main argument.
Now, this is the guy that actually had a fight with Bryson Gray, who is equally as dumb as he is. Let's see if we can find the fight. Here it is. So the story is, you won't believe this. And now this is what multiple people have told me is the story. Okay, so Bryson Gray was at some conservative thing, I don't know what, some MAGA thing, and this dude came to the MAGA thing, and Bryson Gray told the Misfit Patriot that his buddy, who is Skittles, is an abomination. And Misfit Patriot said, will you say that to my or his face? And Bryson Gray said, yes, I will. And the Misfit Patriot guy punched him and ran off. So Bryson told Misfit Patriot through other people, they called him or texted him, that he's going to press charges unless he meets him at a gravel parking lot and they settle it man to man. So they go to this gravel parking lot. Okay, let me make this. Okay, they go to this gravel parking lot and decide that they're going to have a boxing match. And here's what ensues. Ouch, my balls. My balls, what that is. So this fight here, which kind of reminds me of, like, this is what high school fights were like, right? Like high school fights, they last like 30 seconds maximum, right? They never go too long. It looked like at the beginning, Misfit Patriot, it's hard to see, but it looks like he gets one punch in on Bryson, but they're kind of far away, so it's hard to even see what's going on, right? So it looks like he popped there and Bryson fell, but then Bryson gets back up and this guy's trying to grab him. He's trying to do some kind of like UFC, like wrestling body flip move. Like, I don't know what he's trying to do, but they're fighting on gravel, so they keep falling. I don't know why they thought it would be a good idea to fight in gravel. This is so stupid, but they keep falling over. And then Bryson lands on top of him, and then it looks like Bryson gets a couple punches. Okay. And he's waving his hands. So one, that one missed. Two. And then Bryson claims that this other guy went for his balls. Okay, so maybe, I can't, let's see. Oh, he did. He kicked him in the balls to get him off of him, right? So that did happen.
That's the fucking street
He did kick him in the balls. Okay, right here. Right, so see the guy's New Balance there? You can see him shining in the light. He's about to bring some New Balance down on Bryson's 8 balls. Bryson's got a couple 8 balls down there he don't want touched. And then there's the foot. You see that foot going right up in there in them 8 balls? What that is? Oh, what that is? Oh! Sounds like Dave Chappelle. Oh! Oh! What that is? I hope them 8 balls is okay. I think they are, because Bryson was instantly talking shit nonstop after this. And you'll notice that his comment to me was, Jay, I will make you quit in a sparring session. That dude didn't touch me with any punch. Okay, maybe he didn't. I can't tell from the first punch. It was far away. But it's funny to me that since he lost our debate, Bryson wants to debate me. Now, I don't even know why Bryson was mad, except that I put up the images of 2 R's fighting. Maybe that made him mad. But I never said that he didn't win the fight. It looks to me like overall he won the fight. So, and that dude did kick Bryson in the balls. So, anyway. I forgot about that fight. I was going to talk about that interlude there with some ghetto UFC right there. H. Brazzy, $5. Play the Banker song. You got it, I did. Boomer Slayer, $20 Canadian. Oink, oink, oink. Pay Piggy. He's talking about Pay Piggy. Black Fork Long, $5. What is that? A Pokemon's? Some kind of little gay Pokemon's. Vane becomes a member for 1 month. Thank you. Vane says, it's my first time on the interwebs. How do I unmute? Crutter becomes a member. Let's get this party started. H. Brazzy, $10. Heisenberg in the chat asked what your rap name would be. My rap name is already Young Boomer with a J. Like Carl Jung, Jung, Young Boomer. Find him and permaban him for not knowing that the king of rap is already named Young Boomer. Exactly. That's embarrassing that he didn't know that. What we got to figure out, though, is when I get my turntables, what's my DJ name? See, that's what we got to figure out. What's my DJ name? What that is? All my balls. All my 8 balls. Get it? Because the color of an 8 ball. It's a joke. Y'all get it? I got 2 8 balls. H. Brossi sends $5. Says, get the ass up. Porfirios, $5. Jay, would you talk about NATO some more? We're going to talk about NATO tonight. Getting a lot of what's your sources when I talk about it at my Slavic program. What's the Slavic program? Folks are asking, why not NATO? Well, I mean, basically just say gato, because NATO pushes the gato. Literally, that's their function, is to basically push the Skittles flag everywhere. Ortho Debo, $5. Do you unironically like electronic music? Of course I have. I've always liked electronica. I've liked electronica since 8th grade. Young grifter. My name Young Grifter. Fella, see what that is. Do you like D&B and Jungle Breakcore? Not really. I like it when Prodigy uses it, but just D&B on its own really gets on my nerves. I do like some of the breakbeat stuff. So breakbeat is good. but more so when it's like Prodigy, like the classic, like the first Prodigy album is still a classic. And it's somewhat D&B. War Pig Gaming, $1. Now, y'all, listen. When I get my turntables, and Jamie's already bought a keyboard, okay, like, y'all understand you're going to get your own young boomer electronica and techno coming. Okay, that's what's coming in the future, Lord willing. Okay, so we're not just writing for the Sam Hyde show, writing books on Hollywood, and doing all of this debating with goobers, okay, and hosting the 4th hour of Lord Voldemort, Lord willing. Okay, we're going to be branching out into, we're going to be putting on all the hats, okay? All of my altars in my MK Ultra crazy head, all of those altars have their own hats, and I will be wearing all those hats, you see. So get ready for the DJ mixes. Get ready for the turntables, because I'm about to get turned up. Okay, get ready for techno from me. Get ready for music with me and Jamie down the road. That's coming. Jamie is my rave girl, by the way. She's also a musician. Okay, she can sing too, if you didn't know. What else? It's all coming. The whole package, the whole deal is coming for y'all. Mean Eugene, $2. That school breakfast pizza went hard. Breakfast, you know what? I didn't even think about that. It was breakfast pizza. Because in school, you had to wake up. Shit, what, 8, 7 in the morning? What time do you have to wake up for school? You got to be there at what, 9 or 8? I can't even remember. Do you have to be at school at 9 or 8? It seems like it's more like 9, isn't it? And then what? What? 8? School's at 8? Detroit style techno is the best, says Lasha for $5. Yeah, I like a lot of different styles. I like that old house stuff. I like old Detroit house music. I mean, I like all of it. I don't really like, what was that? There was what was that trend from like 10 years ago? I'm going blank on that trend. I hated that trend. What was that one DJ? Dave. I liked his one song, "The World Is Mine," but then he started doing nothing but that other genre, which I couldn't stand. Anyway, I've forgotten. But what I'm saying is, in the domain of electronica, I like most of the genres except for D&B. That's just D&B. I don't like some of the trap house. I don't like some of the what's this? Like, I liked Skrillex okay, but that genre like just got so annoying. I didn't listen to any of that. Y'all want to know what my electronic is real quick? I'll show you. Let's see what's in the history over here. Let's see the playlists. Here's what I've been listening to lately, electronica wise. Where's music at? Here we go.
As an owner of...
And don't worry, I'm not gonna waste all of your time with talking about the. This is, I told y'all it'd be somewhat of a chill stream. So these mixes here are really, really smooth, just for kind of like if you're typing on a blog or you're reading, this kind of stuff is good for background. Kind of a jazzy, smooth house mixes. Yeah, Dave Guetta. Thank you so much. I couldn't think of Dave Guetta, but he had that one song, and then he started doing something core, and I couldn't stand that. It's so annoying. I like Tin Liquor a lot. I've been listening to. Let's see what else is over here. Some of this is more obscure, kind of remix type stuff. This song I just heard a couple days ago. I like this a lot. I don't want to ding the copyright, so I'm not going to play all that. Some of this is in here as a joke, by the way. Like, I'm not a huge Parliament fan, but P-Funk is pretty funny, so, and we'll listen to various Parliament songs. Jamie and I think Michael Bolton's funny, so we play that one sometime. I do not like Def Leppard at all. The reason this is in the playlist is because when my best friend died, this was his favorite song. And so I put it in the playlist just for him. I still listen to a lot of 90s, like Massive Attack is classic, electronica. Even like the early 2000s, Paul Oakenfold stuff is classic. I listen to that quite a bit recently. A lot of the on Unibeat stuff. Anybody in the sphere of Above and Beyond. And by the way, they just had Hannah. I listen to Hannah's mixes usually. She was doing an Above and Beyond concert recently, which was good. Let's see what else. A lot of this is 90s stuff, 2000 stuff. Underworld, that's classic techno. These are joke mixes here. 90s, Sneaker Pimps, 90s. 2000s era trance. I listened to a lot of 2000s era trance because that was a weird time. What else? 2000s era trance. 80s music. We got to have Project Pat. Googly Moogly. Let's see what else. This is some lesser known trance, melodic trance stuff. This guy's pretty good. I like this guy. Not many people know about him. That's not the... There's actually a better song he's got over here. Where's it at? Any kind of obscure, melodic, lesser known trance I like a lot. This one right here, this is a good one. This guy right here, this is good. And I'm done. So I know this gets on. Why is he talking about this? It's gonna get on your nerves. Oh, it's on my nerves. It's on my nerves. This guy's good. See, we'll be putting out stuff. I'm gonna put out stuff like, you're gonna find me out on a damn pontoon boat. I'm gonna be on a ratty ass pontoon boat that I bought for $3,000 from a meth head, and I'm gonna be out there on my turntables squeaking and turning knobs just like this bro right here. And you're gonna hear me playing music, and you'll be like, "What happened to him?" You're gonna be like, "What happened to him?" And then I'm gonna blow your mind because you're gonna learn. You're gonna realize that all this time you thought I got a haircut, and you didn't even know that it was a mullet. Oh, what? Oh, shit. Oh, what? Jamie came in the bathroom because she heard me going crazy. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm giving myself a haircut." And I went, zzz, 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 zzz. And I went, zzz, 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 zzz. I just went straight up, dog. That's it. I said, middle finger to the clip and trim. I said, "You boomers want to cut my hair military style? You want me to go to boot camp, clip and trim boomer? You get that finger, and I'll pull out Mr. Clippers myself." And I did. What are you going to do about that? Nothing? Didn't think so. All right. Our boy Kotel. He covered this. Let's see what Kotel thinks about this next level of the drama. He did a drama stream. Oh, wait, we got some more super chats. Excuse me. Let's get to these super chats. Bagged milk. No, excuse me. Yes. $5 bagged milk. Bags of milk. This sounds like something like a 13-year-old talks about boobs when he's making. "Look, did you see her bags of milk? Like, that chick had like huge bags of milk." Right? Bags of milk was a real thing, though. It's not just what a 13-year-old calls memories. Bags of milk. Why in the world in high school did they feed us bags of milk? What is this? What is this? And why is it in a plastic bag? Talk about dystopian, dude. Maybe we're in the dystopia and it began in high school or grade school. Look at this nasty. This is a high school, grade school meal right there. What is that, dude? It looks like some kind of damn It looks like something from THX 1138. I'm going to order that when I go to the drive-thru. Oh, yeah, let me get one of them THX 1138s with an extra dystopian fry. H. Brosy, $5. It is funny to hear your boomer era, elder millennial, not boomer. Boomers didn't have bags of milk, dog. And boomers didn't eat pizza and chicken nuggets at high school. What are you even talking about? What did boomers eat at high school lunch? Let's ask that. Maybe we'll have to ask Grok or something. What did boomers eat at high school? I could ask my mom. Lunch. Ooh. Now here's 1970s. Okay, so that was about it's about the same, isn't it? That's 1970s. That'd be let's see. Whoa, oh my goodness. Maybe it was the same stuff. Eek. Do we have any boomers in the chat that remember what they ate? I'm only 24. Trust me, the GMO milk that I was drinking had us the same way. He's talking about farting off in the class after lunch. Well, the milk isn't what making you fart, dude. It's the high carbohydrate, fake gravy and chicken nugget. Did you eat chicken nuggets? Because that's what we had. It's DJ, $10. Did you see Christian Avengers group on YouTube? It's a bunch of TikTok Protestants and Cliff Connectclo. Is that goofy picture that's going around? Everybody's talking about that picture of evangelicals. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. I did not see the YouTube. I saw that goofy looking picture. Mud, $5. You might as well join a boy band. It's almost as annoying about how right you are at all times. Thank you. Now, I appreciate the compliment, but I'm confused about boy bands. How does that connect with boy bands? But I'll take the compliment and the super chat. Christos and Esty, $5. You're back with that KGB satanist sorcery. Yes, exactly. He's referring to the high IQ evangelicals that exposed me as a satanist. And the comments are funny because everybody's talking about that they prefer to be a satanist, like satin fabric. H. Brazi, $10. Your countless debates with the modalists and the Judaizers has made my ability to spot any and all word concept fallacies immaculate. That always is what's going on with these people. Yes, actually, it's even Basil, I think, that noticed that heretics have a hard time with grammar. And they will double down on words having only one reference. And so it's weird because most of the time the mistakes are, they're partly metaphysical mistakes, yes. But a lot of times they misunderstand what they're reading and they're making grammar mistakes. Let's see. Now I lost my place. Where are we at? Thank you guys for your generosity tonight, by the way. Here we go. The Bonsai Jungle, $20. One more Pay Piggy super chat. Well, hey, dude, $20. That's a nice one. Appreciate that. Frankish Melkite, $5. Would you say that the Ebionites were the first instance of post-millennial theology and a kind of Zionism? I don't think they were post-millennial. I've never heard of any post-millennial heterodox group. I think you mean premillennial, but there's an argument to be made that some of the post-apostolic fathers might have also been premillennial, depending upon how you interpret their comments about the kingdom. But the Ebionites, if I recall, were influenced by a kind of Judaizing, but I don't think they were postmillennial. They would be premillennial. Elias Bayader, $5. Do you have any thoughts on the Orthodox icon of the Theotokos nursing Christ? Not familiar with it, but I doubt it's the same thing as Bernard of Clairvaux's weird mystical paint. It's not his painting, but it's a painting of him. I mean, as long as it's a canonical Orthodox icon, I don't have any problem with it. Oh, I typed that twice. I mean, I assume this is a canonical icon, but the spraying the breast milk is not a canonical icon. And Bernard of Clairvaux is, I mean, when I was Roman Catholic, I had a lot of respect. I was a big fan of St. Bernard. I have his commentary on Song of Songs. I've got some of his other writings. So it's not that I'm coming at this from like some idiot Protestant perspective. It's just, this is just not comparable to Orthodox icons. I'm sorry. Rich Smith, $10. Can you talk more in depth about book compilation you mentioned and where I can buy them or what to avoid? Book compilation I mentioned. That was about 20 minutes ago. Rich, can you comment in the chat what you're talking about? I don't know what you mean about a book compilation I mentioned. Rich, if you're still watching, I'm going to pay attention to the chat here and see if I see you comment on what book compilation. I don't even remember what I mentioned. Are you talking about the Church Fathers? Well, I don't even know if that's still available. The set I have is probably the most famous Church Fathers set. It's called the Philip Schaff Church Fathers set. Not the history of the church. I have that one over there, but this is the Church Fathers set. I bought this for $1,000 or $2,000 back in 2002. This is kind of weird because, okay, so here's somebody selling the entire set for $2,500. Here's the post-Nicene Fathers for $1,600. So it looks like you'd have to buy it. Looks like the full sets, people are selling them for like $3,000 or $4,000 now. That's pretty crazy. Here it is on eBay for $4,000. Back in the day, this was just like, it might have even been $800 at one time for the whole set. That's pretty crazy. I don't know if this is in print anymore or if they don't print it. I have no idea. I mean, I've had mine set for 20 years, so I don't know. Over 20 years. But that's the set. Also, when you go to New Advent is the Schaff set. Right, so the Church Fathers on New Advent is literally this. Let's see. I'm assuming that's what you meant by compilation. You're talking about it's a set. It's not really a book compilation. Lazy Eyes sends $5. Thank you so much. Texas Guy became a member. Welcome, everybody. Glitchy Rhythm, $5. Someone needs to clip the last 20 minutes about art. Well, guys, there's like 6 or 7 clips channels now. So all you guys have fun. Go clip crazy. My only request is that you link back to the channel. That's it. But we've got like 6 or 7 people doing clips channels now. And by the way, clip the funny stuff, okay? Because, yeah, I appreciate everybody clipping the theology debates, but a lot of people will come over and watch more stuff if you clip the really funny stuff. What you said about art was not something I grew up thinking about. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Tyler Williams, $5. Ouch my balls. It's like the movie Idiocracy, which is appropriate. Yes, it is. Ouch my balls. I think that's the first fist fight we've ever watched on my channel. Rachel Wilson says, reminder that Ow My Balls was the #1 TV show in Idiocracy. Exactly. Tommy Schill became a member. Thank you. Leonardo's 40K became a member. Welcome all you chat nerds. Lasha says Detroit style techno. Lasha says check out Svansik Pitchit. Svansik Pitchit. Okay. DJ Dyer and the 12 Ortho Bros. Jason Cassell, $10. No, sorry. No, I don't like that name. But I appreciate your super chat. Glitchy Rhythm, $2. See if you like Gunship. Bro, I've been listening to Gunship since they came out, man. Yeah, I like that stuff a lot. In fact, I just realized the other day that Lord Voldemort, or the producers, are playing the song Mountain. I never knew what song that was, but then I was like, it popped up one day in my algorithm here. And it's the Gunship song Mountain, which is really good. And I was like, oh, that's Lord Voldemort's song. But yeah, of course, bro, I mean, we've been playing retrowave and synthwave since it came on the scene, dog. Talking about this right here.
Tranquility.
Anyway, I can't play it, you know what I'm saying? Or else it'll ding the algo. Yeah, I know who the Midnight are. I know all these things, man. Yeah, I know Sunglasses Kid. Yeah, all of it. Love it. We get more super chats than I thought. Stairs into Space Gaming, $2. Lux Eterna. I'm guessing that's something electronic I need to check out. Jeff Kelly, $5. Why can't Sam Shamoon see your view on orthodoxy? I don't know. Could be because he's befriended Albrecht. Maybe Albrecht has convinced him of papal quotes. I don't know. Lasha, $5. Jay, Georgian grandpas think that Stalin fought against certain groups of people. What do you tell Geo grandpas? Well, it's a little more complex than that because I think Stalin originally had a plan to be pro-Israel. He wanted to get Israel on the Soviet Union side. When he saw that wasn't going to happen, he then had this anti-rabbinic policy, if I recall. And then certain Jews left the Soviet Union for the West because of that. So I don't think it was even Stalin fighting Jews per se. I think it was Stalin was making geopolitical moves to try to have the Soviet Union work. And so when he couldn't get Israel on his side, he decided to not be pro-Orthodox rabbis in the Soviet Union. Giob became a member. What's up, man? You got a lesbian haircut, and that era of you is the best. Well, hey, girlfriend, thank you. You should at least do one formal debate with that mullet. I might do that. You know, I did a mullet a while back, and it was fun. And how awesome would it be for somebody to lose a debate to a person wearing a mullet? That's I like this idea. Also, though, I'm kind of tired of debates. I mean, bro, Who else is there for us to debate? Somebody was like, how come you keep debating low-hanging fruit? Well, first of all, those are open forums. So anybody that comes on can come on there. I don't control who comes on. Secondly, I don't even remember the last high-profile person-ish who offered to debate was Dr. Calin. And that was months ago. And I said no because, number one, I was writing Esoteric Hollywood 3, and I don't have time to spend 3 months learning Shia Islam to prepare for a debate with him if I got to try to finish a book. So that was not my priority. Learning Shia Islam was not my priority. And then Sam Shamoon debated Dr. Calin, and I thought Dr. Calin did not do very well at all. So I was like, I'm not even interested in that. So there hasn't even been anybody who offered to debate who was of any kind of substance. Okay. Now every day there's some goofus with 2,000 followers who started his own cult who wants to debate, and they will say that I'm scared. So, but I'm not going to do a formal debate unless it's somebody with an audience around my size or bigger, or they pass my physiognomy test, because that's the new thing I've started for debates. You have to pass my, I'm not going to debate any more Soisbergs. Or you have some kind of criteria. So I would make an exception for a public debate if they were, say, a small audience, but they were really well known with, say, a degree in something, right? I would debate Wes Huff, but Wes Huff said he's not interested in any more debates, or at least he said something like that. Voice of Reason already debated Luigi, and I don't think he couldn't beat a catechumen. So we asked Durbin years ago, and he said, check again in a year. No, I'm not going to debate people who seem insane. Okay, so I know that a lot of people just want debates for entertainment. I don't just debate for entertainment. Sometimes I will, but honestly, I mean, as I tell you guys all the time, like, I get tired of debating. It gets so old because, I mean, maybe once every 3 to 6 months do I hear something that I haven't heard a million times. No atheist ever brings anything new. No Protestant ever brings anything new. It's the same debate over and over and over and over. And then the debates end up being catechism class. And it's so annoying, man. It gets so old. Imagine people asking the same question hundreds, if not thousands of times. I mean, at a certain point, you would just be like, you can't just go research this question and find the answer. People are just lazy. Ostin gifts 10 memberships. Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate that. Got a lot of new members tonight. Already 14 new members. Zamande Chef King, $2. You are smart, but can you go on Jesse Lee Peterson and talk and troll? What that is, women at the gates of hell. Women at the gates of hell. Why don't you start your own laughing club? That's my favorite line of his, is when Jamie Kennedy said he didn't want to get canceled. And Jesse Lee Peterson said, start your own laughing club. That's what he called a comedy club. Maximos. Jamie Kennedy and I did an impression of Jesse Lee Peterson saying that to Jamie Kennedy, and I sent that impression to Jamie Kennedy. And he was cracking up. He was dying laughing. Maximos, $5. Did you know about the recent canonization of Father Demetrius Staniloae amongst 16 other Holy Fathers in Romania? I had heard that he was about to or had been. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that, because Orthodox Dogmatic Theology Volume 1 was one of the things that really convinced me to become Orthodox. James Pitcher, 15. Jay, thank you for your work. My Calvinist theology has been seriously challenged as I learn more about Orthodox and work through your geopolitical videos, which are very good. Thank you. I would also recommend, for all Calvinists, they should read St. Cyril of Alexandria and the Christological Controversy. Not because I'm saying that the author is the greatest person, but that book, forget the author, that book is really good for removing Western and Calvinist presuppositions about Christology. All right, we still got more super chats. Let's see here. Rich Smith, $2. Computer restarted. Thank you for your response earlier. Well, Rich, were you talking about the shaft set? Mr. Smirks. I'm Mr. Smirks on YouTube. I became a member. Can you unblock me? Can people I blocked become members? I didn't even know that was possible. Why did I block you? What nonsense did you spew at me? Because I really only block people when they say just unfathomably nonsensical things. Theotokos gifted 10 memberships. Thank you guys. I didn't realize, by the way, with memberships, I don't know if it wasn't this way 5 years ago when I used to have them, but apparently they expire. I didn't realize that. So, because I noticed I had like over 400 members the other day, and then it dropped down to like 350, and I was like, did 70 people just like cancel? What the heck? And then I realized, oh, they actually go away. Mr. Smirks. I mean, you only sent $1, and I'm guessing somebody gifted you. So I'm assuming that I probably blocked you for good reason. When I block somebody, what I usually do is I see their stupid comment. I go to their profile, and then I see multiple other justificatory examples of goober nonsense. And then I am vindicated. Usually. You know, it's funny how much you can actually like gather about a person from a few comments and a little bit of information. You know what I mean? Is this you? Mr. Smirks. I don't see Mr. Smirks coming up. Who is this dude? Is that you? I don't think that's you because I don't see this blocked. So I don't know, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. Gabe K became a member. What's up, Gabe K? All right, now let's get over here to this. Koto had a good analysis of the Elon baby mama drama. Okay, everybody's been talking about this week. I didn't get to it. I've got all this other stuff coming. I was so enveloped in writing the third Esoteric Hollywood book that I didn't get to this. And now I do want to get to it. However, before we do that, I have to go to the little girl's room. Go TT. But I have some messages to tell you before we return to today's program. So,
I'm gonna put you on something crazy real quick. Most of these Zoomer gym bros are consuming macro-guzzling synthetic dyes and synthetic sweeteners on the daily. They don't even know it. Goofy AF. There's nothing great about that. Do not listen any further unless you are an alpha or sigma male. This is important and there could be consequences. There's a new certified sigma male pre-workout powder for sigmas only. It is guaranteed to empower you to dominate your co-workers, fire your boss, aggressively gamble, or invade a small village. Chad Mode stands out from the crowd by excluding artificial flavors, preservatives, sweeteners, and dyes. We've even avoided so-called natural flavors, which are actually not natural at all, ensuring a clean and effective formula. Experience the pure goodness of Chad Mode, colored with organic blue spirulina extract, organic lemon, cherry, and organic maple crystals. Forget synthetic caffeine made in a sketchy Chinese lab. Embrace the natural power of organic green coffee bean extract, which will get your mind going and pump you up to the max. Chad Mode is made in America with all clean ingredients, the first clean pre-workout of its kind. Why are these people adding synthetic sweeteners to every single pre-workout when there are many studied downsides to consuming nasty fake sucralose? Each dose of Chad Mode contains the kick of a cup and a half of coffee, delivering a surge of energy alongside essential vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and herbal extracts. Chad Mode will allow you to fire your boss and dominate anyone who opposes you. Chad mode will make you more dominant in your daily life, so proceed with caution. It's as simple as mixing 1 or 2 scoops of our fine powder into water or juice, providing you with a delicious, energizing beverage featuring a burst of sweet organic fruit flavor. Chad mode will give you the extra edge you desperately crave. Don't miss out. Secure your supply of Chad mode on TikTok Shop with a limited time massive discount. Elevate your workouts and supercharge your days. Chad mode, not for your average gym bro zoomer who consumes synthetic blue dyes on the daily. Buy on the TikTok Shop now with a massive discount provided by TikTok for a very limited time. Buy now while this is still available, or go to chalk.com and use code in caption. Chad mode has been flying off the shelves because it's the first of its kind. Certified.
I want to show off something that we're all proud of. I got a browser here. This is Jay Dyer's much vaunted, much sought after Philosophy 101. Now, he just got this page up. We are just testing it out. You guys are some of the first people in the world to see it. I want to say, for my part, it's not Philosophy 101. I think this is a mistitling. I really think of it as like Philosophy Unleashed. Because a Philosophy 101 course, they give you kind of some useless information that you can't make sense of. Jay actually lays out over 12 weeks, dozens and dozens of hours put into just the presentation of this, let alone the hundreds and thousands of hours of research that it takes to have a coherent evolution and history of the origins of philosophy, the uses of philosophy, the different ways to look at it over time, and how that has been brought about to what we have today, which is almost an absence of philosophy on the objective logic and reason side, and an overabundance of woke philosophy that is irrational and is made up day by day as people are like, I think we should bring racism back. And then here's a justification. And then it gets wokeified and spread out. And then all of a sudden you have a bunch of communist, socialist ideas where you become the property in action. You need to be able to stand your own ground. It helps to have a foundation in philosophy because it's a method to find truth. When you get down to it, philosophy is there because you love truth enough to go and learn how to find it because it's valuable. So if you're interested in things like that, there is the landing page. We'll link it up in the notes. It is a longer one, so we'll get a shorter URL for this. I'm sure Jay has a link on his page. I just wanted to show it off. Now you know it exists. You can go look for it and see why this is not your father's philosophy, right? So well done. I'm proud of everyone who helped to produce and edit the course. And of course, Jay did a flawless job in presenting the course over those 12 weeks. And he's a juggernaut.
All right. Welcome back. Mr. Smirks says, I asked what your thoughts on Shamoon were like 2 years ago. Well, I don't think I would have banned somebody just for asking what I thought about Sam Shamoon. That doesn't seem like a bannable offense. So I will look one more time. See if I find maybe this profile. Is this you? Okay, I'm guessing that's you. So I think I removed the ban. You are no longer excommunicated from this channel. I have, through papal fiat, removed all canonical bans upon you. Shout out to MKG. He became a member. I forgot to mention this, by the way. So I got an email from the president of Romania, the rightful president of Romania. And we were supposed to do an interview. And of course, as you know, maybe you don't, we were going to do an interview. And then I got super tied up with the death of my best friend. And then the death, another death in the family that we have to deal with. And so I did not get back to the rightful president of Romania who won the election and who had the election taken from him, Georgescu. And now I believe he has been put in some kind of arrest or house arrest or something. Now he can't talk to the media. So now I don't know if I can even, yeah, I'm being serious. We can even do the interview. Because I think he was told that he can't talk to the media because right before he sent me the email and we were going to set something up, and then he went on Lord Voldemort. This was like a month ago, 3 weeks ago. And then now he's been told he can't talk to the media. So That was on my mind 3 weeks ago, and then we had all this deaths come up, and so I forgot about it, and then I remembered, oh crap, the president of Romania emailed me. I forgot. And of course he's Orthodox, he's the rightful leader, but NATO basically just said, okay, you don't get it. So this is another reason why NATO hates Orthodox Christianity, unless it's some made up fake version that they and the CIA create, which is Skittles and whatnot. Who are you talking about? Somebody's talking about people being PDFs. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so let's get back to this. Maybe I can still get the... Oh, I just remembered. If I recall, isn't he the guy that used to be at the Club of Rome? And I played a clip of him. I just remember this. I played a clip of him from when he was at the Club of Rome from years ago, and he left it because he said, hey, this is a crazy anti-natalist global elite cult. Isn't this him? This is the same guy, right?
The problem is that the UN agenda is the same with Davos agenda.
Mm-hmm.
This, in fact, is my main topic for our conversation today. For this reason, this the world oligarchic system, they have the power on Europe because they control all the people like Bundeskanzler or president or prime minister or whatever there are. So for this reason, sorry to interrupt you, the situation with Donald Trump was a big shock.
They didn't expect that to happen. That was an accident, I suppose.
Absolutely an accident.
Not part of their game plan.
It was the first time of the oligarchy system was what happened an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Because normally it have to be Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Not Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And the process which we are dealing now with this pandemic and all these liars was supposed to be in 2016.
They were pushed into
exactly.
Early
in
start.
a sense, to be in 2020 to be a disaster regarding food and water.
Ah, I see.
Which normally they want to arrive in 2025 now.
I see.
So the plan was a little bit changed, and for this reason, of course they will not succeed. This is clear. I mean, the system is almost down.
Mm-hmm.
It's but of course there are the last moments, and we have to have the courage now, all of us, to say no. In a sense that UN could be a fantastic, can have a fantastic role, but is not, because it's totally under control of the oligarchs.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that these oligarchs, all of them, are related with the system of the pedophilia one, because we know that there are more.
Well, there you go. So that might explain why he was not allowed. And I'm assuming that's the right guy, right? That's him. Yeah, former Club of Rome. He won the presidency of Romania, and then NATO just said, "No, you don't get it." And if I recall, they were saying the same thing about the AfD in Germany, right? That NATO will just say, "You don't get it." So this is, you want to know why NATO and all these things are bad? Is because the EU and NATO, they just do whatever they want. And yes, so I played a clip. I didn't even realize when I heard the name Calin Georgescu that it's the guy whose clip I played a year ago, where this is it, I think, where he's talking about there's more to this interview. So I'll just give you the whole interview right here. So here is the whole interview with him, and this is why he can't be president. So he says what I say. There you go. That's why. So yes, I got email from the president of Romania. And I just replied to the email because I forgot about it. I kid you not. I said, is it too late to still do this interview? So it may be too late if he's under some kind of house arrest or he can't talk to the media or whatever. So, but Lord Voldemort today was saying that he was going to, they were going to do an interview, but I think he couldn't talk or something like that. Realizer Network, $10. I tried to ask Andrew Wilson. He said you were better to ask. I recently moved to a new area. I found an Orthodox church as OCA. They use the RSV and not Orthodox Study Bible. I don't think that's really a big of an issue. No, I mean, there's way more dangerous things than something like that. I mean, if you're seeing Skittle stuff, that's the red flag. It's not, are they using an RSV? It's not ideal best Bible, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. Anyway, let's get back to this. So we'll do this real quick here to catch up on this drama. And yeah, the first thing I thought, as you guys know, because we've been doing so much espionage analysis of late, and we did our SEX espionage book analysis a few months ago. Yes, this was the first thing that popped in my head. Now, we don't know if this is the case, but it does seem plausible.
Where were we? Okay. Anyways, you get it. It's like right here. So this is a little bit of an overview of like what's going on. So she has now filed a lawsuit for sole custody. Many suspect to try to get an enormous.
Once you try a comfort hoodie, you can't go back to regular hoodies. They're slightly weighted, super oversized. It's that
Child support claim against Elon Musk. But it's very interesting because Elon Musk has yet to comment on this publicly at all. And Ashley St. Clair has actually lied about her age. So she claims that she's 26 years old. And because of all this stuff, people that knew her in college have come out and said, no, there's no way she's 26 years old. Turns out she's like 31, 32. And she's been trying to present herself as much younger than she actually is. And people that went to college with her claim that she was kind of a whore, that she slept around, that she would go to these frat parties, and that within one particular post I saw, he claimed that he was in a frat and she basically slept with every guy that was in it. So, you know, take from that whatever you will. Milo Yiannopoulos, who, you know, don't fully trust, not even fully convinced he's still heterosexual, and that's going to come up actually today. He is kind of the one, he always has like info on people's drama and things that people don't have. Well, according to him, Ashley St. Clair actually rode on his tour bus, or when he was doing a tour in like, Milo was big in what, 2016, 2017, something around there. And she slept with everybody besides Milo and his assistant. And at the time, Milo was a gay married man, or if you know, you get the point. And so that has come out too, that she basically opens her legs quite often. And then she made all these posts about how Kamala Harris.
I mean, I'm like, normie mainline conservatism is Con Inc. is such a giant fraud. I just can't, it's hard for me to fathom that anyone falls for it. But I guess that people, I mean, they fall for everything. So just zero discernment. And I mean, who would even, like, you have to be a total simp to think that this person is going to offer any quality analysis anyway, right? Like what exactly is she going to bring to the table? I mean, what are people thinking? I don't understand. Like, you know, we get 1,000 to 2,000 people live over here. And what do you mean I don't read the small super chats? What are you talking about? It's just simply not true. I read the guy's $1 super chat. So the problem is that I might miss one, but I'm not intentionally avoiding people's super chats. So scrolling back through here, I don't see anything I missed. PGA Lifestyle, $2. Debunk the Christian Avengers on a 1x1 stream. Maybe. Jeff Kelly, $5. Have you heard of the Transition of the Ages or Rick Clay? I have not. JV Free, $2. What's the ultimate purpose of theosis in daily life? Well, the purpose of theosis is to be like God and to enjoy God in this life and the afterlife. Mud, $2. Opie, never mind. Zamande Chef King. Okay, if you send a super chat with Streamlabs, sometimes I miss those because the scroll is a very small box. It's not because I'm avoiding small super chats. Your haircut is kind of interesting, but not real. Pretty sure it's real. Mud, $5. Jay, if you ever miss my super chat again, I will Om Shinriko and become a member of the Branch Davidians. Well, that's two different cults, and I would suggest creating your own Branch Shinriko. Om Shin Davidian. Combine it. Storm the Cat, $10. A long time ago, I was reading a German philosopher. He's not Orthodox, but he noticed how papist art is all about emotions and feelings. Yeah, absolutely. Other people have noticed this. You don't have to be Orthodox to notice that. Orthodox icons show people solid and concrete. Yeah, it's more, I think, intended to display apatheia. The Orthodox idea of apatheia, which does not mean apathy. Derek, $10. Okay, see, I missed some of these in this feed on Streamlabs. It's two different feeds. Okay, so I'm not ignoring you guys' super chat. I just sometimes scroll over and miss some of them. What is your opinion about psychiatry diagnoses like psychopathy, schizophrenia? I think they're just describing the same thing that a priest will notice if you were in confession. So priests are very good human psychologists. And when secular psychologists are diagnosing things, they're just terms for a lot of the same issues. So a lot of the vices, a lot of the spiritual problems, like sociopathy, psychopathy, these are spiritual problems that even secular analysts and theorists can give terms to. Are mentally ill people responsible for their sins? No, I think that whether you're a secular psychologist or whether you're a religious analyst, a priest, whatever, a spiritual father, I think everyone, even the law, has a place for reduced culpability. What if a person could be considered possessed by demons? Can you be doing evil without being evil? Yeah, I think if a person has the loss of their faculty of reasoning, then there's definitely a diminished responsibility even in law. And the same would apply to moral culpability as well. Now, that doesn't mean that you're necessarily totally free from responsibility, because you might have done something that caused the loss of the faculty of reasoning and your good sense. For example, you have a wreck when you're drunk driving and it results in the death of somebody. You aren't intentionally intending to murder someone. However, you are liable and culpable because you chose to drink and thus cause the loss of your reasoning. And so you're not as culpable as like first degree murder, but it is a sin of negligence that caused the loss of the will. And so you're still guilty, but it's less guilt and tears. And I think every legal system has noted that. Okay, so I don't think I missed any others. Here's one. Coach Christ Pill, $5. Debate Ocean Keltoy. He pushes back on orthodoxy. Look, I mean, I'm not going to debate every person that pushes back on the positions and every single goofball, every single Protestant idiot. Ocean Keltoy. A lot of people don't even want to debate. Looks like this guy does do debate. He debated Vaush. Oh my gosh. What a name. Ocean Keltoy? Is that a real name? Oh, a polytheist heathen? Oh my gosh. So, look, these kinds of guys, it's going to be the exact same debate as the Bog Lord Dave debate. I can, with like 5 seconds of looking at the profile and Odinism, I can already tell you it's going to be literally a repeat of Bog Lord Dave. Mud, $2. All must come to me and join my branch Shinriko cult. Zalmoxis became a member. I'm thankful that the Romanian Orthodox Church is mostly bathed. I hope that's true. I don't know much about the church in Romania. Eerie Fairy Tales became a member. Welcome. MKG became a member. Welcome. I mean, I hate to break it to you guys, but when you're debating atheists and pagans, guess what? It's almost always the same debate. Very rarely do they bring anything new to the table. One time, there was that one Aristotelian pagan guy. And I don't remember his name, but he was a nice guy. But we had a couple debates on, I don't remember where, Discord maybe, like years ago. So, paganism versus orthodoxy debate, Jay versus Bog Lord Dave. There's no pagan debate that will be any different than this debate. They're all going to be the same because all paganism ends up in relativism. So you're just debating relativism all over again.
Can't, improve in the world. That without like getting on her knees or laying on her back, she can't advance herself. And
using the right weight matters. The Body Pod lets you easily understand what is the fastest way to reach your health.
And she slept with everybody besides Milo and his assistant. And at the time, Milo was a gay married man, or if you get the point. And so that has come out too, that she basically opens her legs quite often. And then she made all these posts about how Kamala Harris can't, improve in the world. That without like getting on her knees or laying on her back, she can't advance herself in her political career. And then, interestingly enough, Ashley St. Clair began to delete all this stuff on her X page, Twitter page, that made any reference to like women selling themselves for sex, which makes you think that this was some type of contract. And maybe it's going to come out regarding the lawsuit that this was negotiated between Elon Musk, that, Elon's never married any of these women. I think he's got 4 or 5 baby mamas. If the accusations are true, this is his 13th child. And there's, interesting enough, and I'm going to show you some of this, is that apparently Elon wanted to only communicate with Ashley through Signal, and that their messages were time constricted and were like self-deleted after a certain period of time so that they could see him. And Ashley St. Clair documented all of these messages that Elon was sending her.
Now, I mean, Elon understands tech. I mean, he knows that you can screenshot all those messages, right? Like, I don't understand the logic of the vanish mode when anyone can screenshot tech. It just makes no sense. I don't understand what, like, he has to know that, right? But maybe he has so much money he doesn't even care. It's just like, I don't care. But
private messages, which would make you think, why would a woman who's having a baby or knew that she was pregnant with Elon's child begin to document every single message he sends her that are supposed to self-delete after a certain period of time, unless this was all planned ahead. And so what I'm beginning to think is that this isn't, Elon Musk finding another concubine. Maybe that was what he...
Didn't one of the Isabellas, I get all these Isabellas mixed up because there's like 5 different ones on Twitter, but didn't one of them post messages that she had with this Ashley girl, that the Ashley girl was saying she was going to make her way, she was going to slide into Elon's DMs? So, I mean, didn't that, I mean, unless those were faked, photoshopped, which I suppose is possible, but doesn't that demonstrate it was like a premeditated operation of some sort?
Thought it was happening. It seems like he...
Now, this could have been just her own personal social climbing, or it could have been something on the level of a foreign government's entrapment entanglement operation. It could be all the above or any of the above.
Fell into his own sort of honeypot operation, and that she's going to extract massive amounts of wealth from him. And he has yet to make any public comment on this, other than a message exchange that I will show you here in a second. But this little video here is going to kind of sum up.
The one thing I would say too about this is that if it was an espionage entrapment operation, I could see Ashley St. Clair benefiting from it. I don't see a whole lot of foreign government benefit from it, except for perhaps the child could be some sort of bargaining tool. But if the information is already out, what is the leverage at this point, other than just the child itself? But I mean, Elon's got 13 of these, several of which are IVF. So it doesn't seem like it's that much leverage, except that it's leverage that benefits her. I'm not saying it's not a foreign intelligence operation. It could be. I'm just trying to figure out what the leverage would be if it was that.
The legal aspect of all this different stuff.
Ashley St. Clair is seeking legal action. According to court documents obtained by People magazine and TMZ, the 26-year-old influencer has filed a custody petition with the New York Supreme Court asking to be granted sole legal custody of her and Elon Musk's alleged son, who goes by RSC, amid the tech mogul's absence. She says of Elon's presence in the filing, per the outlets, that the billionaire, quote, has met him only 3 times since the baby's birth in September of 2024, and, quote, has had no involvement in his care and upbringing. Along with the custody petition, Ashley has also filed a paternity petition claiming that Elon has, quote, acknowledged parentage of the child in various written correspondences.
By the way, I have one complaint about her, which is I don't follow her. Don't know anything about her except for what the internet says about her. When I made my anime video, do you remember the what was that trend where people were like acting like anime characters and eating the super chats that you send? A lot of people don't even know what this is. Like, it's one of my shorts because I don't have that many shorts. This one, remember this? Whatever this. I don't even know what this weird phenomenon is. Like, what is this? I don't know, but this. Berries and cream. Berries and cream. Popcorn. Yum. Popcorn. Yum. Remember that dumb trend? Okay. This video got a good bit of, it didn't, I wouldn't say it wasn't millions of viral, but it got hundreds of thousands of views on a lot of different sites, multiple hundreds of thousands of views, right? Well, right after I made this, she puts up her comedy version doing the exact same thing I did. So that's my only complaint about her. I mean, other than obviously the rest of this stuff is probably also true.
In the document, Ashley also provides screenshots of alleged text message exchanges following the baby's birth, with Elon saying at the time, quote, I look forward to seeing you and him this weekend. Following the news, Ashley's rep shared in a statement to People that the 26-year-old has, quote, made every effort to collaborate with Mr. Musk before taking...
No, a lot of people thought I was doing that. That's an actual trend of, I don't even know what this is called. This is some kind of, I think it's like a Twitch trend. I don't know what it's called, but like Twitch people do this thing where they act like a video game and they respond. Yeah, some black girl made a bunch of money off of this. I don't know what it's called. I just thought it was so absurd that it needed to be parodied. She took another phone and took pictures of the messages. I mean, okay, but is Signal structured in some way that you can't screenshot the Signal message? I don't know. I used Signal one time and just quit using it. But remember in the J6 stuff, by the way, Signal can be hacked as well. So I don't know what people thought that Signals. Maybe it's just the hardest to hack of all of these. It's called the NPC trend. I didn't even know it had a name. Oh, does it mean you're acting like an NPC in a game? That makes sense. Let's see. Do people still do this? Or was this like 1 month of idiocy on the internet or something? Yeah, this is it. Now see, people thought I was making this up. Dude, I'm not completely insane. Like, if I make a parody video, you all in my audience should be faithful enough and grant me the benefit of the doubt that I'm not completely insane. Obviously, I'm parodying something. I mean, I literally list in every bio that I call myself comedian now and have for years. By the way, you notice how I manifested that reality? I called myself a comedian. I manifested that, and I write for Sam Hyde now. I manifest that shit. This. I didn't know this had a name.
Yes. Kai, money gun, I got your name. Wow, a lot of gift for you. Yes. Hee-haw, yes, you gotta feel like a cowgirl, let me write it down. Hee-haw, yes, you gotta feel like a cowgirl, let me write it down. Oh, take it, baby, this is so cute. Yes.
Yes. Living like how yes. I like it.
Go
crazy,
girl. Go crazy.
Go crazy.
Ooh. Yes.
So, imagine what a boomer thinks when they see this. I mean, I think it's dumb, but I understand what they're doing, right? Because I understand that, okay, she's like live streaming and then she's doing the NPC video game characters' lines or expressions or one-liners based on the super chats that they're sending. So if you send her 1,000 roses, which, I don't know, gives her $10 or something, like she has to do the voice of the video game character. That's what this is. So for boomers that are getting scared, that's what this is.
This is so cute. Yes. Oh, thank you, baby. This is so cute. Go crazy. Ooh. Hee-haw, yes. You gotta feel like a cowgirl.
Go crazy.
Let me write it down. Yes. Yes. Oh, thank you, baby. I love you. Yes. That was good. Let me...
Okay, so there's the black girl that made money doing it. Now let's see some of these. Let's see some of these Walmart discount versions of it.
I love glizzies. Chicken.
So all this time, I've been reading all these books and talking about all of this geopolitical, philosophical, highbrow stuff. And I literally only had to act like a literal slow boy, Corky. And I would be making, 10 times what we make here? Why was I'm the idiot. I'm the slow boy. Because I was not doing this, and I was doing all of this when I should have been doing this. Well, why am I'm the dummy. By the way, there's a fat dude that's doing it too. Let's check out this after this dude.
Roses. You want to see me lift some weights? Tap the screen, tap the screen.
I want to see this fat dude. Look at this guy.
That's prickly. Popping a mini. Popping a mini. Popping a mini. Cat claws. Rawr. 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 Ooh woo. Ooh woo.
So we need to make a Bryson Gray version. What that is? What that is? Ask my balls. Ask my balls. What that is? What that is? Ask my balls. Do you keep a Torah? Do you keep a Torah? Man, what you working on Sunday? What you do on Sunday? You keep a Sabbath? You keep a Sabbath? What that is? What that is? Ask my balls. Ask my balls. That's my Bryson Gray NPC trip.
Chili pepper. Spicy. Spicy run.
Lightning bolt. Hello. Hello. Thank you.
Here's Bryson right here. We we hit the Bryson NPC trend right here.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
You want to spar? I spar right now. Jay, I spar with you. I spar with you. Ask my balls. I spar with you. What that is?
Everyone, thank you. Thank you, Golden. Thank you. Thank you, Love Child. Thank you. Thank you, Solis. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ken Ken. Ooh, so hot. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Yes, let's get this moolah. Gang, gang. Gang.
I think that orthodoxy is going to very soon experience what we in the church are experiencing.
Oh, so we got him, mate. We got. Uh-oh. Did he get the pints of cake icing out for Behemoth Ybarra to be back on?
20 years ago, fella, we were on top.
Orthodox is going to have the same liberal. Liberal.
Top of the bloody world.
Bloody
Protestants
world.
flooding into the church. And now I feel like we're being sufficiently humbled. I'm embarrassed about the times I told Protestants about just how unified we are.
Right.
Oh. Striking admission. Striking crikey admissions, mate. Hope you got a nice pint full of cake icing out for Behemoth Ybarra. Eric Behemoth.
And I'm sorry I did that in a triumphalistic way. Now, don't get me wrong, I do think there's a unity in the church that isn't in Protestantism. I still think that's a valid critique of Protestantism and an argument for Catholicism. options that
Did you know that when I'm not, this is actually true, that Ubi told me that when Matt Fradd has Ybarra on, if he doesn't coat the microphone, the foam on the microphone with chocolate, Eric will not come to the table. It's kind of like it's like the way they bring livestock to the feeding trough. Sometimes they got to put like a little bit of food out to get them to come to it. If he doesn't coat the cake icing on the microphone, Ybarra will just sort of graze around the studio, and he won't make his way over to the table to the microphone.
Aren't perfect.
Yeah.
And by perfect, I don't mean true. I just mean that would make us feel completely secure if we stick to appearances.
Yes. In many ways.
You'll notice that this is very conveniently lit to where Eric blends into the background, because if it wasn't that way, you would see that Eric is the background. Okay. Eric is literally the background here. And sometimes there's a camera angle, which he may not be using in this episode, where it's shot from the side of the table with both of them facing each other. Eric is the size of a small planet. He's the size of a small moon. He's like Titan or Io or whatever those Saturnian moons are named. I don't even know. But do we even need to debunk this? I mean, what are they even saying? So you'll notice they cut out that angle in this podcast, maybe because I actually made a joke about it. Because from the side, Eric Ybarra is literally has to be 400 to 500 pounds. I'm not joking. And I don't care what you think about my jokes. I really don't care.
Parishes, getting to know Orthodox people. It's like, oh, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to go to the OCA parish. Oh, no, don't go to the OCA. What? Why? Well, this. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, can I go to the Greek Orthodox? No, I wouldn't go there.
Now it's all a tu quoque. Okay, so because there's liberalism in the Orthodox churches, we have the same problem as the Roman Catholic Church. That's where this line of argument is. Okay, first of all, these people have never understood that the critique that we make is not, you don't have the liberalism, or you have the liberalism we don't have. They've never addressed this point, ever. And that's why they won't talk to anyone but whoever they'll talk to. They would never talk to me because I won't allow bad arguments to keep going and fallacies to be pushed and the points to not be addressed. So for the 500th time, I'm going to make this point again. Our argument for orthodoxy is not that we do not have liberalism and you do. Nobody ever made this argument. Sometimes people have made the argument that there's less liberalism that's extreme in the Roman Catholic position that we do not have. That's true. For example, we do not have liturgical liberalism in the Orthodox Church. Even morally liberal parishes, or if you were to go to an Elpidophoros liturgy or something and you saw a rainbow flag or whatever, the liturgy itself would not be tampered with and messed with. And even the Roman Catholics will admit this. Okay, it's very difficult to find real Orthodox liturgical abuses. It is not difficult to find that in the Roman Catholic Church. It is everywhere, except for the Latin masses, which are being suppressed and shut down by the Pope. So the argument was never and has never been, you have liberals and we don't. And these strawmanners, these goofuses, always address an argument that is not the argument that's made. So what they're doing here is appealing to the masses that are listening to the audience. They're appealing to a lot of people who are low tier, low information voters. They're appealing to those people and saying, the grass isn't greener, there's liberals over there. Okay, nobody ever said the grass was greener in the sense of no liberals over here. The argument was always that your system via Vatican I hinges on an ordinary teaching position of the magisterium that cannot err or change its morals or its dogma. Vatican II, Francis, and countless other examples in the bishopric and hierarchy have consistently taught against the pre-Vatican II teachings and morals so many times over that it is a contradiction in the dogma and the morals, such as the temporal supremacy of the Roman bishop being necessary for salvation, such as changing the position on the death penalty to be, quote, contrary to the gospel. Two easy examples. Those are changes in morals and dogma, amongst many others, such as the status of the Jews in the covenant, also a change in the Roman Catholic system. 3 examples. Okay, those are systemic level critiques which invalidate the entire system of the Roman Catholic papacy and its dogmas. And a systemic level critique invalidates the system. This monstrosity here has never understood this argument. He is such a low-tier, hard-headed, he's got hot dogs in his ears from lunch and from second breakfasts and from 11sies, that he doesn't understand a paradigm level critique. And if you go back and watch our debate, every reply that he gives is a let me stack more and more evidences, and doesn't it look like maybe the papacy is true? When it's never even been a question of the papacy. It's a question of Vatican I's view of the papacy, as he debated with Ubi, and as he said at one point in the debate about Vigilius, I'm going to have to get back to you on that because I haven't found a sufficient answer for that.
Because this. It's like, wait a minute. So now I got to pass Orthodox churches too to go to the right one? Why? Well, you got to go to where they hold the canons. The canons are inspired, infallible.
Who ever said that the canons are inspired and infallible? I've heard one Orthodox goofus who maintains this. And that's probably who he has in mind there. Who I don't know if that goofus even still believes that anymore. So let's move on. Let's see if there's a better argument here.
Led to the old Russian believers breaking off?
No, that's
previous.
Yeah,
okay.
that's previous. Yeah.
Okay. So because there's old believers, Orthodoxy isn't united, even though almost all those people have been reconciled to the church. So look, if you are at this level, if you're falling for this type of stuff, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, all of this stuff is entry level stuff. I can always count on these people keeping it at the entry level because there's not a lot of advantage to podcasts, to going deeper into any of the issues. It's much more advantageous for, if you got 500,000 subscribers, to keep it at the pop level.
That's another interesting one. But in any case, without going into too many details, there's just so many names, so many things that have happened, but they themselves have undergone.
So in other words, I'm going to be lazy and not give you explicit examples. There's just so many and so many names. Like what? Who? What are you talking about?
An experience of ecumenism to the point where Orthodox were talking with Anglicans, we're talking with
Yeah, so there were meetings with Anglicans 100 years ago, and so now Eric's saying, you guys are ecumenism too. You guys got all the same problems. I guarantee you, I don't even have to watch this clip. I can guarantee you that nobody in this clip, Matt Fradd, Eric Ybarra, will never address the systemic paradigm level critique that the Roman system invalidates itself from an internal critique on its own grounds. All they can ever do is a tu quoque. So this is a giant tu quoque podcast. I can already tell.
Catholics in a way that blurred that rigid line that the Orthodox want to see, which is outside the Orthodox Church, there is no sacrament.
No, meetings with Anglicans 100 years ago is not a blurring of the lines. It's not a violation of the canons. It's not ecumenism. The canons specify liturgical services and communion with heterodox. Nothing to do with having academic conferences. None of that's a problem.
There is no grace. There is no salvation. Well, you had a lot of Orthodox hierarchs who were coming out saying the opposite of that.
You can see, if you look in there in his mouth, you can actually see an entire Wendy's bacon burger, like over there by the right molar there. If you pay attention, like you can see, there's like the wrapper's still on it if you look really close. No, look, man, if you want to be Roman Catholic, you want to go be with these people, go for it, man. Be my guest.
This stat, she has no further comment on the contents of the petitions, which speak for themselves. E! News has reached out to Elon and Ashley for comment, but has not yet heard back. Ashley's legal filing comes a week after she made the public announcement on Valentine's Day that she allegedly welcomed Elon's 13th child. Writing on X, formerly Twitter, 5 months ago, I welcomed a new baby into the world. Elon Musk is the father. I have not previously disclosed this to protect our child's privacy and safety, but in recent days, it has become clear that the tabloid media intends to do so, regardless of the harm it will cause. The author.
Now, the ironic thing about this is the day.
It is incredible how many things you wrote about, things that were undeniably, even obviously true, but that most Americans.
Before she does an expose with the New York Post where they do a photo shoot and she goes into details about her relationship with Elon, that she.
Oh, by the way, so yes, I meant to mention this. We got some more super chats. What book would you recommend that steelmans the Roman Catholic position? I mean, I quit reading Roman Catholic stuff years ago, so. I mean, I know that when I was a Roman Catholic, one of the popular apologetic books, I still have it over here. It's the Butler, Dahlgren, and Hess book about the keys. But I think the problem is that you can spend the next 10 years arguing until your face is blue that Peter and the keys and the rock and all that is the Roman reading. And none of that will get you the Vatican I claims. That's why Ybarra, for example, when he tries to make that move, he says, let's just go with the historical cases. Let me stack them up. And then is it even maybe possible that it's the papacy? That's his move. Okay, but all I need is one counterexample of a contradiction. And if I recall, in the Ybarra debate, at one point he actually says something like, I'm going from memory here, something like, if you can show one dogmatic contradiction, the papacy would be false. He says something like that. So even he kind of at least maybe understands the point. I don't know. Zaman to Chef King, $2. Elon will have at least one evil son and one good son. This sounds like a Brian De Palma movie or something. Jeff Kelly, $5. No, it sounds like Bill Paxton's movie. The Good Son? Isn't that a Bill Paxton movie? Is that one with the old Matthew in it? Said, listen, I just want to report myself to the FBI that I'm guilty of murder. By the way, if you've not seen The Good Son, oh man, you talk about like, whoa. Is that it? No, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong movie. The Good Son is Macaulay Culkin. Is that Elijah Wood? Oh wow, I've already forgotten this movie. So this is him like, there's an evil kid and a good kid. Is that how it works? And he's trying to frame Elijah Wood or something? Now, what's that movie that Bill Pullman directed with Matthew McConaughey? That one is funny, dude. It's so funny, you should actually watch it. It's kind of crazy, though. It's like a trauma-based mind control. Bill Pullman directed it, and he's also the villain in it. Frailty, excuse me. And it begins with Matthew Mick. He walks into the FBI office, and he's like, "I'd like to turn myself in for being a serial killer." And the FBI guy's like, "What?" "Sir, I'd like to confess my sins as a trauma-based, mind-controlled serial killer sometimes."
Nope. Just picture you and your mother, huh?
I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't take things off my debt.
Guess I've been in here a while.
Guess I'm just a serial killer right now. Didn't even know it till I figured it out in a dream. Jarek Kabonzi, $3. Thank you so much. Christos Anesti, $3 or $20. What is infallible in an ecumenical council, or the canons? I think rather than using the words infallible like Roman Catholics do, I mean, it's fine to say, okay, an ecumenical council is infallible, but that doesn't mean that every canon is on the same tier of divine revelation. Divine revelation is once for all. It was given to the apostles. It doesn't evolve. There's not new divine revelations after the apostles died. Ecumenical councils are affirming the faith of the prior centuries and of the apostles, and the canons are binding. But a canon and church law is not the same thing as divine revelation. There has to be some kind of distinction. For example, many canons in the history of the church no longer apply. They're impossible to apply. They refer to places that don't even exist anymore. Clergy can't ride horses. Think how silly this would be to say, it's infallible, it's a canon, a clergy can't ride a horse. My priest rode a horse, I'm leaving the church. This is how some spurgs think. Okay, the reason that clergy didn't ride horses is that was for nobility in the Middle Ages. You can't go to theaters. Okay, the reason you can't go to theaters in the ancient world, going to the theaters was an action of pagan worship. You had to revere the gods when you went to the theaters. Okay, going to the movie theater is not revering the pagan gods. So clearly, canons in the church list different canons of scripture. To the people who have argued childishly for many, many years, such as certain goofuses, that the saints cannot err and that the canons of the church are infallible, canons list different canons of scripture. So if the canons are infallible, now you have contradictory infallible canons. You see how silly this is? So clearly there's some distinction between divine revelation and its unchangeable, eternal truth value set in stone, and church law, which is the application of that to the times and the seasons as they're needed. So the dogmatic pronouncements of a council would obviously be received by the entire church because they're expressions of the timeless teachings of the church. Canons are applications of those principles to time-bound relative scenarios, and that's precisely why catechumens and laity do not go trying to read the canons and interpreting them and making idiots of the faith and themselves. Jacob Croker, $2. I will not be going to Catholicism. Your responses are great. Thank you. Christfield, $5. Do you naturally have a strong memory? I think so. I have a large head. I don't know if you've ever seen me in person. I do have a large size head. Do you have tactics that you use to help your recollection? I do not. Do you use the memory palace? No, I do not. Accounts payable, $5. The irony is that Elon was a champion and darling of woke left. Yeah, you're talking about previous to buying X, Elon. Yep. He was the embodiment of the green tech revolution. Yep. Under the Obama regime. Correct. I remember this. There would be no Elon without Obama pushing electronic vehicles and solar power. I think everybody knows that his government contracts were a big part of where that Tesla and all that grew from. Lasha, what do you think about Femme Fatale, the Brian De Palma movie? I think we discussed this a few streams back where we went into multiple Brian De Palma movies. By the way, the Esoteric Hollywood 3 has its own Brian De Palma section. So, oh, I have to say, I forgot. I meant to have also a Martin Scorsese section. I did not fit a Martin Scorsese section nor an Oliver Stone section yet into this. And one reason I want to have a Martin Scorsese section is that I have a personal conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory, I'm joking, but I used to get these emails a few years ago quite regularly from a film buff. I still have all the emails. And it was a kind of a pseudonym name profile, something like Simon something. It wasn't Simon Mages, but it was like Simon something, Simon M, Simon Movies, I don't know. And it was obviously a person who knew a lot about movies, a genuine film buff. And they listed all of these favorite movies, why you need to watch them, the best movies, okay. And some time after this, I watched multiple Martin Scorsese interviews. And curiously, everything in these emails was all the same movies and reasons listed why I need to watch these movies. So I think I did get multiple emails from Martin Scorsese. And because I do like many Martin Scorsese movies, I think he's definitely probably one of the best. There's not a whole lot of directors actually that I think are like really, really good. Obviously, I would put Scorsese is good, De Palma's good. Believe it or not, actually, when I listened to Quentin Tarantino describe all of his different directors and why they're good, I pretty much agree with Tarantino. I know a lot of you guys don't like Quentin Tarantino. I'm not talking about people's personal politics. I'm just talking about what the various directors say about who they like, what they like, why it's good. And I agree with a lot of what Scorsese says. I agree with a lot of what Tarantino says about directors, why they're good, who's good. And I'm trying to think of who else. Obviously, we like David Lynch a lot. I was sad to see David Lynch pass away, by the way. And we did this, I forgot to mention to you guys, we did a really deep, expansive podcast right here with our buddy, he does the My Family Thinks I'm Crazy podcast. And we just did, you might have heard it on the audio, but if you didn't, Mark, who does the My Family Thinks I'm Crazy podcast, this will premiere in 2 days. We went pretty deep on Lynch here. We talked a lot about Twin Peaks, obviously, but I think we delved pretty deep into Inland Empire, Lost Highway as well. So we're all over the place tonight, but that's okay. We're having fun. I told you it was going to be a laid back, fun stream. How did I get on this topic? Anyway, I'm pretty sure that Martin Scorsese sent me multiple emails about... In fact, I can even show you the email if you don't believe me. Tonight we're talking about famous people that have emailed me. President of Romania emailed me. That's a real email. This one is speculative. Oh, and the first famous email, you'll never guess who the first famous person to email me and message me and debate theology was. This is a weird one. If you're a longtime Jay's Analysis fan, listener, if you've been here since the 2008, 9, 10 period, quiz question. By the way, I meant to give out THC. Dang it, I forgot that. So tonight I was going to give out Tin Hat Cat again because Tin Hat Cat, if you didn't notice, went way back up to almost to its previous high. And then we had this tariff situation, which has again tanked the market. This is not bad news. So I'm actually happy that Bitcoin has now gone down to 79,000 because every bull market has a significant drawdown. If you were here in the previous bull markets of the COOF in 2020, the bull market of 2018, we almost always have a 30-40% drawdown. So let's see what this one is. There's a reason why I'm saying all this stuff. We'll get back to the movies in a second. So really this only constitutes a 20% drawdown. This isn't even that bad. So Bitcoin at 79 is, for this bull market, only a 20% drawdown. And I mean, we've seen bull market pullbacks that were 30, 40. I mean, way worse than this. So a lot of people who are new are all freaking out. I'm not freaking out. In fact, I'm literally moving things to buy as soon as possible. So remember, if you're new to this, this is what you want. You do not want to be in a situation where we do not ever see 80,000 again, right? And you remember I told you guys, I was like, I don't know if we're ever going to see 60. The low is like 60. I mean, I could be wrong. There's nothing certain in crypto and markets. We could have a asteroid that hits and destroys everybody tomorrow. But if you base it on the past cycles, the low here is the high of the last cycle, which is 60. So I doubt we'll ever see 60 again. But if we do, I'm buying more. And keep in mind too, if you get shaken out, if you have paper hands, all you're doing is selling your Bitcoin to Michael Saylor and BlackRock and people that are going to gobble it up. Let's see where we at. Stairs into Space Gaming, $5. Is there a biblical rational reason why the Father and the Spirit don't have second natures with regard to economic manifestation? Well, there's nothing in manifestation that's going to be different from the intra-Trinitarian life in terms of who God is. So who God is defined by Trinity and the nature of the Trinity, who he is and what he is. So even though economic manifestation doesn't equate one-to-one to intra-Trinitarian life, there's not going to be any difference of nature because it's the same God. And to have different natures would mean different gods. Athanasios, $8. Jay, serious question. How many cake icing fueled Ybarras could Moses McPherson take down at once? The real question is, if Father Moses is a power lifter, could he lift one Ybarra? That's the real question. JW, $2. Are we getting a big mic deep dive? I don't think so. I mean, that ain't my domain. I don't do the FTM, MTF stuff. So I'm sure there's plenty of people who could. I'm not saying that it's not funny and I don't have questions about it. I'm just saying, like, I don't even think about that crap, dude. That shit grosses me out. Now, quiz question. Who was the first famous person to, you won't believe this, by the way, to send me emails arguing theology of all things? This is kind of weird. And I was able to actually verify who it was. And I don't think they were lying because I went and looked up this person and what they were into. And I was like, okay, well, he really is into theology. That's interesting. It is not Big Mike. It's not anybody from the Obama sphere. It's no one that's Obama adjacent. I'll put it this way. It's a sports adjacent person. I wonder if he ever got into Orthodoxy, by the way, because he hasn't, I don't think I received any email or anything since, it was probably like 2011 was the last time he emailed me. Any question, any guesses? And I meant to give out Tin Hat Cat and I forgot. We're going to do that. We'll do that the next stream. So I apologize for not doing that tonight. I meant to do it. I forgot. It is not Benny Hinn. It is not Elton John. It is a sports adjacent person, not a Skittles adjacent person. So I'll put it this way. It's a sports adjacent person who was in a famous movie. And if I recall, he played a Jesuit assassin in the movie. I think that's right. Paul Washer. They are more famous than Paul Washer, more famous than Kevin Sorbo, not as famous as Gil Bates, Dan Marino. No. You would have to think of sports people. We're getting closer. Cristiano Ronaldo? No, but you're getting close. You're getting close. It's a sports person interested in theology. I don't know if he still is, but here's the weird thing. So this was back when I was still arguing like trad Protestant stuff. Yeah, I mean, I knew about Orthodox stuff, but I don't think in the context of the blog he was commenting on anything Orthodox. I think he was caught between Calvinism and Catholic stuff, I think. Or he was a Catholic who was wondering if he should be Calvinist. This is like 15 years ago, so it's a little fuzzy in my head. It's not Charles Bartley. It ain't Charles Bartley. It ain't Charles Bartley. It's not Dennis Rodman. I don't know if I would reply to a Dennis Rodman email. I mean, if you watch Double Team, he was grossing me out. It's not Jay Wiener. It's a sports adjacent person. We're getting close. You're getting close with David Beckham. Somebody of the same speed and stature and level as Beckham. You're getting close. Pele. Remember when I was on that live stream and we were talking about Pele and I thought Pele was the dude with one leg that played soccer? It's not Vladimir Putin. Ybarra. Yes, Ybarra is very adjacent to soccer. Yeah, sure. He's a soccer guy and he was in a movie as a Jesuit assassin. Somebody needs to hit him up because I wonder if I should hit him up, see if he would come and argue with me or something. No. I can't believe y'all can't get it. It's not David Beckham. It's not Ronaldo. It's the other one. Who's the other biggest soccer person? Brittany Griner. I don't even know who that is. It is not a Spice Girl. It's not Donovan. No. There's literally only like one other. Americans don't know any soccer people except for Ronaldo, Beckham, and blank. It's like the only other soccer. Yes. Big Problema got it. It's Eric Cantona. Big Problema. I'll give you 10 hat cat if you give me your wallet address since you got my quiz question. It's Cantona. I wonder if he would come back on and debate. That'd be interesting. Are you into crypto, Big Problemo? If so, put your Sonic wallet address or your THC wallet address in the chat. The chat must be behind because he already got it. Damn, y'all getting obscure. A bunch of people, I have no idea who these people are. It's Eric Cantona. Since is human nature part of the essence? Part of the essence of what? So nature just is essence in terms of human nature. Or excuse me, in terms of either God or humans. So they're essentially interchangeable. So Christ has a human nature that is the essence of his humanity. And God has a divine nature, which is the essence of divinity. Lasha, $5. In Georgian Kabbalah. What the heck is Georgian Kabbalah? 666 in Gematria is a symbol of God. I don't know what Georgian Kabbalah is. And what does that mean? Kabbalah is a medieval Jewish mysticism. You said it. Does Israel reject half of God from being 666 negative? I don't know what that means. I'm not trying to be rude. I just don't know what that means. We are way off course. Somehow we got to talking about soccer stars and movie directors. Oh, it's because I was saying Martin Scorsese, I think, sent me emails. I was going to find those emails. Maybe I shouldn't. But I can't prove that. But Eric Cantona was in Elizabeth. I'm trying to remember his character. Oh, I didn't know he was still doing all these movies. This movie just popped up on my movie feed, so I'm trying to remember that. Isn't he a Jesuit assassin in the one with Kate Blanchett? No. What's the character he plays in Elizabeth? Isn't it? Maybe he's just a government assassin, not a Jesuit assassin. I can't remember. Monsieur de Foy. Okay, he's not a Jesuit assassin. He plays Monsieur de Foy. I don't even know who Monsieur de Foy is. What is he? Is he the Duke? No, he's somebody else. Okay, I was wrong. I thought he was a Jesuit. He's just some French noble guy. Anyway, so that's enough of the drama about this nonsense. Okay, Jeff Stein McCaffrey. I wanted to get to this tonight before this is going on. We're already over. Whoa, we're over 3 hours. I didn't realize that. This is going on way too long. In brief, my thoughts on this. So I think a lot of us were skeptical that we would get any kind of like legit thing released. I don't trust the binders that were given out to these influencers. I mean, supposedly it's all redacted. At least what's on this website about Jeff Stein McCaffrey is so redacted that people were saying that the information that was already out was even less redacted. But then the story was that Bondi claimed that the New York FBI office is withholding the actual files that they plan to release, and so they're having to try to get them to release it. So who knows what's even true out of all this? Do we even have to go that far? Well, I think, yes. I mean, it matters as to what's going on here, because the idea is that it will have people's names, which, yeah, we would like to see all of the compromised goblin politicians and entertainment and science people. I'm sure they're all on there. But people are actually saying, you can't make this up, they're actually saying that it will hurt certain foreign nations if this is released. Excuse me? What kind of nonsense is this? That we can't know who is graping underage people and blackmailing politicians because it will hurt the feelies of certain Middle Eastern nation states? Excuse me? This is insane. It's so absurd that people like this right here have even given interviews about it. And people are tired of being called names and the R word, and it doesn't phase people anymore. They're over it. Also, some good news. I mean, I'm saying if these names come out, which I don't know. There's not even anything here. So I don't think this was too surprising. The weirdos running various NSA operations were a bunch of purple-haired TRANZ weirdos talking about all the nastiest, weirdest stuff. So I do not trust anybody in the government. I don't hold up these people as heroes necessarily. When they do something good, good. So I'm glad to see weirdos and creeps being filtered out of these positions that they should have never even had a thought of being considered for. So, guys, I'm assuming everybody heard this, that Tulsi Gabbard got rid of all these NSA weirdos. This is a scam site, not going to that. I don't think anybody's surprised with this. USAID, this is obvious, everybody knew this, was sending U.S. taxpayer money to anti-American leftist Soros, to Al-Qaeda, and TRANZ Queens. Of course it was, because this is culture war, and they use our tax money to fund all of this culture war and toxicity. Everybody knew this, I think. Now, I'm glad that USAID is getting axed. However, people should be aware that USAID is not the only outfit like this. There are countless, endless. I looked up on the stats, okay? So let's assume that Grok's stats are accurate. This sounds accurate. There are 1.5 million NGOs out there, and 1.2 million are liberal. So I'm glad we got rid of one big one. But there are an infinite array of NGOs, think tanks, foundations, and they all need to be got rid of because they all do this. I'm talking about Rockefeller Foundation, Gates Foundation, Tides Foundation, Ford Foundation, Soros Foundation, Carnegie Endowment, Brookings Institute, Rand Corporation. All of these should go away because they all are engaged in the exact same subversion and activities. They don't, I mean, in principle, they're not all doing the exact same stuff as USAID was. But if you get into this, the white papers and the NGOs and the think tanks, it's infinite. They all need to go away. And we don't need to have another rebranded version of all the same stuff. But that's what they're going to do. They'll just rebrand it and do something else. Nick, $1.99. What's the best way to show Protestant authority is apostolic? To show a Protestant that authority is apostolic. Look up any of the debates that we do with Protestants on apostolic succession on biblical canon, or discussions that we've done on normative authority. So this is interesting because Jamie and I were actually rewatching Buffy, and there's a lot of Joss Whedon, I think, wrote a lot of interesting coded things into his movies and TV shows. I'm not saying that makes him some sort of hero. In fact, he's been outed as a fake feminist trying to get laid with his fake feminist game, and then they all said he was a creeper. What's interesting, though, is that his shows all had a lot of stuff that we've talked about. So we did a whole podcast on Buffy if you want to see our take on that. But Dawn from Buffy passed away, and people are wondering if it wasn't perhaps related to certain things that might have happened in the past couple years. And also I would say that there's this weird trend now when people pass away who we don't know much about or what their beliefs are or how they lived their lives unless somebody goes into some background check. But there's this weird trend of people who cheer on people dying and people are just acting sick on the internet. When someone dies that isn't like some global elitist goblin, like, you shouldn't be cheering on people's deaths or saying, oh, they deserved it because oh, she was childish, she deserved it, she got what she deserved. That's just wicked, man. That's wicked hatred that you're not supposed to have as an Orthodox person. Now, I do believe that we can pray imprecatory prayers against the wicked. And I do believe when you read the Proverbs, it says, when a wicked king dies, the righteous rejoice. The city rejoices. Okay, that's a tyrant, okay? Dawn wasn't a tyrant over anyone. But when you look on Twitter and you see these, probably a lot of trolls and bots and fake accounts, this is intended to stir up hatred. And I think that's just sick, man. We should pray for the dead, and there are Orthodox prayers for people who are not Orthodox, for the dead. It's not just dumb, there's something sick that people are like cheering on when people die. And it's a lot of the incel MGTOW people that really hate women There's something demonic going on with these people. Now, we've been seeing claims of this for a long time, that Soros is going to be looked into. I mean, I hope so. Who knows? Pam Bondi did say that the Epstein files will make you sick. Well, I mean, doesn't everybody already know this? So, accounts payable $3. Like the Italian mob is promoted through pop culture in a mythos to cover up the real organized crime, which is another mob. Other mob lovers are promoted to cover up real power. Certain groups, Masonic people, etc. Well, but it's not just one group of people that has a claim to evil. Okay, evil is not genetic. Evil is something that any people group, any race, any gender can engage in. So we have to keep that in mind. And we have to keep in mind that it is not our duty to hate people. It is our duty to love even our enemies, even when we don't want to, and that's the hardest thing to do. And loving our enemies does not mean that we act like Skittles people. It does not mean that we act effeminate. It does not mean that we act nice. It means that we pray for their conversion, and we try our best not to get provoked. Love is not provoked, does not behave unseemly, right? All of those attributes and characteristics that are listed by Paul. That's what we have to shoot for. And it's hard. That's why all of us are constantly battling the passions, which is to engage in envy, anger, hatred, sloth, evil thoughts, evil intentions, etc. Those are the vices. And you fight the vices by practicing the corresponding virtue. So when you see your enemies and they're talking about how they want to destroy you, what was the model of the cross? Forgive them, they know not what they do. Even evil people who are acting evil have a nature that is still good. They're still made in the image of God, and they're not inherently evil. They are in the grip of a self-deception, and we should see them as victims. That doesn't mean that we just give them up. Oh, I'll give up. You're evil. You can have everything, and you can grape me and do whatever you want because I'm a doormat. That's not what it means. It doesn't mean being a doormat. But you have to ask God to give you a heart to love even your enemies. And that has nothing to do with physical weakness. If someone breaks into the house, we have self-defense, pop here. I do that because my job is to love and protect my wife. That is an action of love to do that, you see. So it's not contrary to self-defense or masculinity or any of those things. But also keep in mind, as we posted some months ago, remember I showed you guys the NATO document that talks about stirring up hatred, enmity through online trolling. I said forever to Jamie, I think some of these women red pill profiles are fake. And then it comes out one of the big ones is fake. And probably a lot of these are fake. So don't immediately accept things as you see them to be. Not everything is as it appears. Anyway, I hope that we get more information on the names that are actually in there. I'm not... if we don't get any information, I will not be surprised. I'll put it that way. All right, I want to remind you guys to head on over to chalk.com. Use the promo code JAY40 to get 40% off all those great products. Or JAY44 LIFE, J44 Life to get 44% off all those great products at chalk.com. That is the show sponsor. Otherwise, everybody have fun. Enjoy your evening. Hope you enjoyed our conversation and our jokes and our fun tonight. Get ready for Esoteric Hollywood 3. It'll be a couple months out, but it's still going to be fun when it releases. And next up, I will do some espionage stuff, as we mentioned earlier, for the members. And I will do the next talk, part 2 of the Carl Gejung for the members. Now that Esoteric Hollywood 3 is done, we got a lot more time for all of this kind of stuff with y'all boys and girls. So I'm a little more freed up.